chat. Okay. Oh, that's going to be a problem. Which one of these chat? Oh, that's going to be a problem. So, which one of these chat? Oh, dang it, it's starting already. Oh, that's going to be a problem. So, which one of these chat? Oh, dang it, it's starting already. Oh, that's going to be a problem. So, which one of these chat? Can you hear me now? Okay. Can you hear me now? Country Boy Cotton. Ow. Okay, excellent. All right, so there's no feedback or anything, no squealing or screeching? I'll take that as a no. Okay, so greetings, Internet. It's Oxleymations here again. And oh, and now I get your response. Okay, so as I just stated, it's me, Oxleymations again, and well, this is my little Q&A stream. It might also turn into a little bit of a fun size review done live on the air, so keep tuned for that. I've actually got what I'm going to potentially review right here. Don't want to give away too much of what it is. I want to keep y'all surprised and in suspense for a little bit. So, as it states on the title down below there, this is an Ask Me Almost Anything. So, bring it on with your questions. Let me know what you want to know. And I will divulge the information that you seek within reason. So go ahead. Yep. Always get one of those weird responses. So I'll say I do like the color red, although I know that's not what you're going for with that post, whatever that means. But the color red is nice. All right, what about you, Country Boy Cotton? You got any questions for me? Oh, there we go. What are my plans for 2022? Well, for one thing, I'm planning on making more content, obviously. I did actually do a video on this the other day. It was, hold on, let me bring it up on my phone so I see what the title was. Essentially, it was me doing a resolutions video for 2022. Yes, phone, come on, load. Okay, in my video titled It's Over, I actually talked about that, but I don't mind reiterating a little bit. So like I just said, I'm going to be trying to put out more videos this year. I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to hit up Colossal Con again. I didn't get to go last year because, you know, what's going on in the world at the moment. Because I would love to get back out to Colossal Con and, you know, meet up with all the friends that I haven't gotten to see since 2 years ago now. Dang. Also, I plan on finishing a certain little video series that I did that I keep trying to make a joke of the fact that I haven't finished yet. As a matter of fact, I've still got the tapes right here. Pardon that thump. But I plan on finishing these 4 episodes of that series. It's going to be a bit of a struggle, I'm not going to lie, because of having to deal with editing the videos really stupidly in order to get around the copyright claims that I keep getting hit with. Oh, got another one of those weird comments. Let's see, VOT.FYI. I really wish I had moderators who could deal with this kind of nonsense for me, but I guess let's try and fill in the blank. We already know FYI usually stands for your information, but I think I'm going to try and do something different with that. Flaming Young Igloos. There we go. Let's see. Do I want that to be a thing? Not so much. But, you know, there are worse things in the world, like my content. But anyway, yeah, it's basically all my plans for 2022. Also, at some point, I would like to get back to my putting shelves on shelves reviews or videos because I have a lot, and I mean a lot of Ninja Turtles left to, you know, make videos on and such, plus other things. So stay tuned for that, Country Boy Cotton, if you're into that sort of content. we just went over this. FYI, let's see, what's another, let's come up with another one. FYI, Frank yells indignantly. Okay, there we go. But the question is, why is Frank yelling so indignantly? And about what? That's the main question that everyone needs to know. Why, Frank? Why? All right. Any other questions from the comment section? Also, a quick question for y'all before I get the next question in the chat over there. Do you think I should have some music playing in the background? I feel this is probably just kind of boring, just staring at me, staring at the comment section until someone types. Will you be doing another Manor series? Manor series. I'm not sure if that was a typo, but can you describe what you mean by manor? Or, oh wait, do you mean major series? Give me just a second, a thing popped up, something needs to update, and I'm not going to deal with that right now. Yes, cancel the update. But if you mean, will I have another major series? I'm not sure. I've thought about doing something, but I'm not sure what. Maybe another review series. Just my usual bread and butter boils down to the Ninja Turtles and like spooky, kooky Halloween stuff and just collectibles. And of course, obviously, you know, different random kinds of food. Uh-oh. Seems like it was chugging for a second there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pop on some royalty-free music. Hopefully it's to y'all's tastes. I'm going to go with the Heatley Bros, if y'all are aware of them. I've actually used their music before in some of my old videos. Let's see, just royalty-free, not royalty-free music. There we go. Come on, where are they? Come on, Heatley Bros. At least I think they were called the Heatley Bros. They were the ones that did like that 8-bit, 16-bit kind of stuff. Heatly Bros. There we go. Found them. Okay, and all right. And of course, we get a commercial. Skip ads. All right, can y'all hear that okay? Not too loud or anything? Not bad. I can't hear the video playback from YouTube, so I need one of y'all to tell me, is that too loud or is that okay? Nope. Okay, cool. All right, so Any other questions? Anything else that y'all want to ask? Hopefully autoplay is enabled. All right. Okay. While I'm waiting for the next question, I'm sorry that it's taken me so long to get to the questions. There's a bit of a delay, but is there anything y'all want me to talk about? Anything during this little stream that you'd like to see? Before I jump into the live fun size review. Because I mean, those of you who were here a little bit ago, you saw I have a lot of stuff I can talk about. Okay. All right. So while I'm still waiting on questions, I'm going to be doing a quick fun size review on what I believe to be. Oh, wait a minute. What would you like to show off? Let's see, bring this over a bit so I can see the end. What would you like to show off? I'm here for anything. Of course, another commercial. I wish I had ad skip on my phone. One of my favorite tracks from these guys. But I've just got a bunch of stuff. Like, let's see. Well, trying to think of what would actually be kind of entertaining. Well, I'll show that off here in a minute after I do the fun size review. So like I was starting to say, and don't worry, Country Boy Cotton, I will get to your question here in a minute. The Mountain Dew Spark, which I think is supposed to be like a spring or summer type flavor. I think that is just a touch too loud. I'm going to turn it down a bit. I feel myself having to speak up. But this stuff I just found in my local Walmart this past Friday. Hopefully y'all can see it decently. I know that light's pretty harsh. So, as per my usual thing, we'll start with the nutrition facts for those of us calorie conscious like myself. Okay, this contains 12 servings per container, this box, and each serving is 12 float ounces or 360 milliliters, aka one can. Let's see. Okay, there's not really anything else of note. So let's go ahead and get in a look at that packaging. I think it's got a really nice aesthetic, although I also feel that the color palette is kind of just them riding off of the success of the Mountain Dew Voodoo from last year. Yeah, last year's Mountain Dew Voodoo had basically this kind of bright, vibrant pop kind of color thing going on. But I like how it's got what appears to be a sports car that's just chowing down on some raspberries. Nice lemonade yellow, got like the kind of mischievous evil eyes going on, like Not to mention the thing is just hauling tail with the flames just roaring out of the side of the muffler there. But with that out of the way, I'm going to say that for the packaging itself, I'm going to give this a 10. No, I can't give it a 10 because nothing is ever perfect. I'm sure if I looked really close, I could find a flaw with this, but I'm going to say this gets an 8. Now moving on to the cans themselves. Mind your ears, everyone. I'm about to bust my fingers through the cardboard. There we are. Okay, so when it comes to the art on the cans, giving you all the first look, it seems like they did a fairly good job of cramming the entire artwork from the box down onto the cane itself. Yeah, they do usually have some pretty good art on their packaging. And like I said, the cane itself, it's got a very cool vibe to it, which is basically, like I said, the entirety of the packaging from the 12-pack squished down and wrapped around it. So I'm going to say the can still gets an 8, just like the packaging on the outside. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's get on to the beverage itself. Again, mind your ears, everybody. This is probably going to be a bit loud. All right, time for that first whiff. It's got a nice lemonade quality to it. Well, to your health, ladies and gentlemen, and all other configurations of being. Okay. I do like the taste. It's got a nice light lemony kind of thing going for it. And then you get popped with a little bit of raspberry. Now that I'm actually looking at it, it's Mountain Dew with a blast of raspberry lemonade flavor with other natural flavors. So it makes sense. So in terms of Mountain Dew with their lemonade flavors, I like this a lot better than I liked that raspberry or blue raspberry sun-kissed lemonade that I tried last year. Because of the way I record my videos, I have the strongest urge to go, if you look in the thing up here, but there isn't one. This is live. We're on the air, ladies and gentlemen. But it's a lot better than that one. That one just, the artificial lemon was just too strong in that one. You know what I mean? I'm going to get another sip off of this, and then I'll give you my opinion of the actual flavor. Or not the flavor, I mean, my rating. Sorry. It's weird doing this live. I can't cut out all my flubs. All right, when it comes to the actual flavor of this stuff, the Mountain Dew Spark gets the Oxleymations official score. Cancel that ad over there. The official score from me of a 7. I really like that flavor, and I think I may actually, when I'm done with this 12-pack, when my housemates and I are done with it, I may actually buy another one. Although I'm probably just going to get like the little plastic bottle instead of this 12-can commitment over here. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and put this back on the floor. And excuse myself because I got a burp coming up. That was a weird one. All right. Let's see. ONG. VUM.ONG. Oranges never green. Yes, orange is never green. Thank you for your insight there. Words, letters in Russian that I don't know how to read. And I do actually recommend this Country Boy Cotton. I think you'll like it if you're into raspberry lemonade. But just to be on the safe side, go ahead and get yourself the plastic bottle instead of getting a 12-pack, just to be on the safe side, because just because I like it doesn't mean you will. Anyways, I just realized I should probably post this link onto Facebook. Where can I put this? Right over here. Okay. Be right back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to still be on camera, but my attention is going to be elsewhere for just a minute. Facebook. Facebook. Come on now, computer. I clicked Facebook Home. I'm just going to turn the music away from myself. Hopefully it still sounds all right. Okay, what's on my mind? I'm currently streaming live over on YouTube, doing a Q and symbol A. Come by and ask your questions. We'll be answering almost any question y'all may have. And I need to get the link for this real quick. Back into YouTube. Back into YouTube. Come on now. That. This. Copy. Exclamation point. Enter, enter. Control V. And post. I said post. Don't you hate that when your computer just doesn't do the thing you told it to do? Okay, so there we are. Bring up the YouTube page again, get the chat going. Okay, so Country Boy Cotton, you asked before, what would I like to show off? You're here for just about anything. That is an excellent question. There's literally so much stuff in this room that it's kind of hard to choose just like one thing to talk about. And also to have stuff that I haven't already spoken of in previous videos and such. I know, I've got something. Okay, so a lot of you may not know this, but for the longest time here, I've been kind of interested in like Halloween masks, and that actually stems from a certain book, and y'all might know what series it's from before I even bring it up. Thanks to this book, or more precisely, the episode based on it. Oh, come on. Give me the skip ad function. There we go. But y'all may be aware of that book and such. But the thing that more captivated me was the episode based on that book. Just in the background, when Carly Beth first goes into that magic shop or what have you, and it's just all those cool rubber masks just up on the walls. It fascinated me. And for the longest time, I actually wanted to get into collecting them, but just I never finally officially pulled the trigger on it until the year before last, because this is how it all went down. I moved into this new this new county recently in my home state, and I was able to start going to Goodwills that I didn't usually get to go to because where I was living, these were a bit far out of my way. And unfortunately, this particular Goodwill, because of certain factors, was starting to go under, and they were selling off all their stuff at greatly reduced prices. One of the things they had, because this was around October last year, or that year, was like their entire set of costumes. All the costumes that they had, masks, like the wardrobe, accessories and stuff, greatly reduced from what they would have normally been priced at. And myself, I happened to stop through while this sale was still going on. They were going to close within a week. And I happened to buy out basically all of their rubber Halloween masks, well, all the rubber and plastic masks. So now I have a small Halloween mask collection. On that note, I've got one box right over here with some stuff in it on that same note. So For the first time premiering here on my channel, other than a brief glimpse of this at the start of my The Haunted Mask Goosebumps book versus episode review, which I will admit is hard to watch past the opening intro because I screwed up bad putting the music in on that thing. But for the first time on this channel, I'm going to be showing off some of my vintage Halloween masks and related ephemera. To start things off, we have, I'm not even sure what this is supposed to be. It's like, I'm thinking it's supposed to be like the creature from the Black Lagoon. Maybe it's supposed to be just a gremlin or a boogeyman or something. But it's made out of rubber, and it's supposed to have a suction cup in each hand. Unfortunately, one is obviously missing. And from what I can gather looking at this thing, you're supposed to like just stick it onto a window, like your front door window or a window at the front of your house to spook people. I'm not sure when it was released because there's like no markings on it at all, aside from the little $2 like wax pencil marking on the inside. But I just thought it was really neat, and so I scooped it up. And it wasn't actually $2. This stuff was, I think, 25% off because the store was going out of business. So there's that thingy. Then there was other stuff, like this random clown mask, which also doesn't really seem to have any markings on it. There's no tags or anything. I just thought it was another really cool looking mask. Kind of reminds me of the Joker when he and his crew were robbing the bank at the beginning of the I don't remember what the movie was. I know it was Batman, but I forget which one. But it just reminds me of those masks from that bank robbing scene. Then, of course, there's my favorite of the bunch, because it's just so weird. Okay, well, yeah, my favorite from this particular lot that I bought. It's this weird cartoony, freaky blue-gummed doctor who's just like sweating profusely. It's like he's just a little too happy to be performing surgery on whoever he's going on, whoever he's going to practice on. And again, it's another one of those weird ones that doesn't seem to have any markings on it that I can find. But I just thought it was kind of cool, and so I picked him up. Literally, I filled a shopping cart with Halloween masks and costume stuff. It was, for lack of a better word, awesome. Got a couple more in this box. And we got a commercial going. Come on, give me the skip ad function. Thank you. And move on to the next Keatley Bros video. But I got another couple cool ones in this box in particular. And next we have this neat looking Frankenstein. I forget if this one actually had any tags or markings on it. I don't have my hopes up. I agree that Doctor would be creepy in a dark haunted house. But yeah, there's no markings on it that I can see. It's got a bit of damage up the back where someone tore it, so it'd be easier to put on. As well as a little bit of a rip right here in his chin, his neck area. The way I've got him stuffed with these Walmart bags, he kind of looks like that one Frankenstein kind of monster from Scooby-Doo. Regardless, I thought it was pretty cool. Okay, and there's one last one in this box, and it is one of the weirder things. I will say I'm not the biggest fan of this one, but again, why not, you know? Whoops, masks fell over. But then I got this weird alien. I mean, it's got like green fuzzy carpet hair. Oh, I just realized something. Apparently, at some point not too long ago, an arachnid had taken up residence in my box. Don't know if y'all will be able to see it, but right up there is an old spider home that was just hidden behind that alien. That might be where the invasion of the tiny spiders came from. If if they came out of this box that came from the Goodwill, I am actually going to be a bit irritated. But anyway, getting back to the to this mask at hand, it's kind of neat. Just the whole reason I bought all these was because they were extremely cheap, and because, like I said previously, I've just kind of wanted to get into mask collecting. I've got a couple more if y'all want to see. And I word it that way because I got to kind of dig them out from over there. Gonna put these back real quick. For you, Frankenstein. Dr. Giggles. And the clown. And the creature thingy. So would y'all like to see the other masks? I like it. Looks nice. Definitely would love it. Okay. Coming right up. All right. I forget exactly how many there were. Like, I want to say there were about 10, maybe 15 of these things. Here's another one. This weird skull, almost gargoyle-looking mask. Again, I don't know too much about it. Oh, it does actually have a tag in it. Excuse me. This was made in 2012 by the Paper Magic Group. And I've heard that some of these guys' older masks, like from the 80s and 90s, are highly desirable. I don't know if this is one of them, considering it's only from now a decade ago. But again, I just thought it looked cool. Okay, next. Thankfully, some of these are just right within reach. Oh, my Oktoberfest hat. Make sure there's no spiders in it. Throw that bad boy on. Why not, right? Since we're talking about spooky things. But next I've got this random, like kind of flimsy plastic mask. And I don't think this one had a tag in it. Let me double check myself. Nope. Again, it's just another kind of neat looking one. It's got like the dripping bloody eyes. It's got like the bright, almost bleeding gums look to it. And it's also got a crack in the plastic back here. But it is what it is. It's got a nice cloth hood on the back to help it hold onto your face. There you go. All right, and moving on to the next one. We have got another one with a plastic face, only this one's far more better made. Nice thick plastic. It's another skull, obviously. And this one actually has an elastic band to help hold it onto your head more firmly. It's got a piece of rubber so you don't scratch the heck out of your forehead and the bridge of your nose when you're wearing it. And it's got some mesh on the inside so that it can hide your face through the mouth and the eyes. And it looks... no, for a second there it looked like someone had messed up the... oh, hold on. Okay, it's one of those unskippable ads. Come on, ads end in 3, 2, 1. Okay, now skip to the next video. Okay, but I was going to say initially it looked like someone had cut the back of this and re-sewed it, but it looks like factory stitching, so I'm not so sure now. Halloween is my favorite holiday. Second would be Thanksgiving into Christmas. Anything Halloween is my cup of tea. My man. Nice mask. I might have to do a video on mine if I find them. I'm guessing it says them. Hold on, the chat window is a little off to the side. If I find them. And thank you very much. All right, still got a few more over here. Give me just a moment. Oh, hold on, ladies and gents. I'm getting a phone call. I was getting a phone call. I've missed my phone call, but I'm not too worried about it. I've got nothing important coming up. Okay, so next on the floor, we have this oddity. Now, I have no idea what the story is behind it. I just think it's really weird and unique. I present to you my grandma mask, which is also my grandpa mask. I've never seen anything like this before in my life, and because of that, I was just like, I should probably pick this up. Because, I mean, it's literally a two-faced mask. It's my grandma-grandpa mask. And in a weird way, I kind of love it. It's got rooted hair. It's really nicely stitched in there. It's got no markings, no maker's marks, nothing to indicate who made it. It's made out of either rubber or vinyl. I'm going to guess it's rubber because it's really kind of squishy. We got another one of these going on. Okay, SITE. Something's in there, Edward. What could be in there? Where? Where's the thing and why? Edward can't help us now. It's already in there. Oh. Okay. So, again, we got my weird grandma-grandpa mask. Moving on to the next one. Let's go ahead and put you over there. Let's see, anything else here? Oh. Along with all those masks. Okay. Glad to know I'm not the only one who's surprised by that thing. But along with all the masks, I bought a couple of other items, such as these gloves. They're like some kind of weird clawed, almost reptilian hands. I just haven't opened them yet because, well, you know, my hands kind of sweat a lot and I don't want them to get ruined by my own sweat. And all I can say about these, because the tag is readily available, readily viewable right there, is that they were 100% latex and made in China. And they were distributed by Far East Brokers Consultations from Florida. I've also got another set of these. I don't remember if they're in this room or if I left them in another room, but they're like this, but they're like dark green with bright white claws on them. I used them in one of my videos. I think it was my stay out of the basement review. Okay, all right, for these next few, I'm actually going to have to get up and move. So, and of course, let's see, can I skip this ad? Nope, one of those short ones. And then we've got an ad for Audible. Not sponsored, by the way. Skip ad. There we go. Okay, going to get the next song playing, and I'm going to go get those other couple of masks. So, be right back. Squeeze by the camera. Pardon me, everyone. Okay. So we've got that one. Then we've got this one. Who else is hiding back here? Any more masks? Are those the last ones? I think these are the last two. Although while I'm over here, I might as well grab the other one that I've had before I got that mini collection from the Goodwill. Now, this one I'm going to hold off screen for the moment because this one holds a special place and I want to tell you all the story behind it. But before we get to that one, we've got these other two to talk about. Okay. Oh, wait, I know I've got more than these. Where are they? Oh wait, they're in that other box over there. Okay. Pardon me for just one more moment. I just remembered where the other ones are. All right. I'll be with you in just a second. Is that the right box? No, it is not. Of course, it's the one I buried under everything. Pardon me, ladies and gentlemen. You might hear just a little bit of a crash. Okay. Got it. I'm just going to move these things over here to over there. Sorry, everyone. I just have too much stuff. There they are. Okay. And there it is. Okay. I'm back with another box of masks. These things were so much easier to store before I stuffed them. Turtles and Ninja Turtle type action figures when I was younger. Lay on the floor and just play all day until bed, eat pretty often, pretty much, or school. Yeah, I didn't have a whole lot of these things growing up, but sorry, I got another commercial to skip over here. Didn't have much of the Ninja Turtles growing up. Honestly, all the ones that I had back then were literally my brother's, and he would just let me play with them. And sometimes he wouldn't know that he was letting me play with them. You catch my drift? But anyway, jumping back to the masks for the moment, because there's still a few left to go. All right, we'll jump over to my Wes Craven's New Nightmare Freddy Krueger mask. Now, unfortunately, way before I got this, someone cut out the eyes because you're supposed to have a pair of bright yellow eyes staring out at you. But I understand why they did it, to make the mask, easier to see through. But he's made by what company made you? Oh, here we go. He was made in 1995. Hold on, the lighting's not optimal for reading this text. It's made in 1995 by. Okay, it doesn't actually say. 1984, 1995, New Line Productions Incorporated, Freddy Krueger and A Nightmare on Elm Street trademark, and A Nightmare on Elm Street new TM are registered trademark of New Line Cinema, etc., etc. So that's Freddy for you. And I believe he was made by the same company who made this next mask. Sorry, I'm going to turn that down again just a little. Oh, no, wrong button. Turn that down again just a little bit because I feel like it's way too loud at this point. But that's the New Line Freddy Krueger. I don't know why I'm stalling out all of a sudden. All right, so we'll put Frederick over here on the floor. And we'll move on to this next mask, which I had picked up along with him. We have this thingy. I don't know what it is exactly, but I'll be honest, when I first saw this in the big storage tub with all the other costume stuff, all I saw was that right there, this like Widow's Peak with the yellow, and immediately, for whatever reason, my brain went to Mortal Kombat, and was thinking of what's his name? Get over here, Scorpion. My mind immediately thought that this was like a Scorpion mask, but when I pulled it up out of the box, I was like, that's not Scorpion. But I just thought it was still pretty cool. It's like some kind of dragon dude, and it's larger than my head. Well, here, let me take the hat off for just a second here, so y'all can get a better idea. I just thought it was really cool looking. This one is also from the Paper Magic group. It's from 1995, and I just, again, thought it was pretty cool looking. Moving on to the next one in my little collection. Put the hat back on. Oh, before I get to the next mask, I did find those gloves. These are basically exactly the same as those other ones, but like I said, just a nice dark green with bright white claws. And another commercial, skip ad, play the next video. There we go. These bad boys can be seen in, like I said, Stay Out of the Basement, Goosebumps book versus episode review. We'll go ahead and put those over there with the rest of the masks. Now this next one, I'm glad I'm not the only one. But this next mask, it's weird. And this one I know for a fact was in the Haunted Mask book versus episode review. It is gigantic. It's this thing. And I mean, look at that. If I hold it in front of my head, you can't see my head. I'm sure you probably have a little trouble seeing my hat. It's a bowling ball, but it's also a head where someone like peeled off half the flesh. Now this one doesn't have any markings on it either, I don't think. Well, it's got a tag, so this is all the tag says. Barcode with numbers. But again, the price was right, and for such an ungodly big head, in a way, I just kind of had to have it. So we'll put him over here with old Frederick, Mr. Krueger, and then we'll pause and take a drink. My throat's getting a little dry. All right, so next in the box, for all you Goosebumps fans out there, we've got the Horrorland Horror. And apparently, from what I found out during my research, sorry, I just had an extreme itch right on the tip of my forehead. According to my research, after I got all these masks, I started looking into trying to figure out who's who and what's what. This is apparently the rarest of the 3 different masks. There was, I believe, the Haunted Mask. There was Curly the Skeleton. And then there was this guy. And he's in really good shape. Still has all the original paint on him. Nothing's really scuffed or anything that I can tell. The only problem with him was that when I first got this mask, because it was sitting for so long, it was like squished, like flat as a pancake. So I had to puff him back up with Walmart bags and try and get him to look somewhat normal. And the only thing that's marked on this is Made in China, trademark and copyright Parachute Press Incorporated. And of course, he's got the big official Goosebumps G right on the back of his head. All right. And to date, this is the only Goosebumps mask that I've found. I really want to get a Curly because that's just a cool looking mask. But for the time being, I'm happy with the Horrorland Horror. Although getting a Slappy mask would be pretty cool too. All right, next in the box, we have one that y'all will have probably seen in my, Night in Terror Tower Goosebumps video review. This one was the executioner who beheaded Knucklehead Smith. Any last words for the condemned? If you says that I did it, then I did, but I didn't do it. Sure, that's what they all say. That scene. If you've seen it, and if not, that's fine. feel free to go back and give it a look. But I just thought this was really cool as well. It's one of those kind of vinyl masks with a nice cloth hood on the back. And unfortunately, like with most of these, it is untagged, unlabeled, and I have no idea. Oh, wait. Oh, it does have a tag, but like that giant skull, it's just a barcode with numbers. It's like, who made you? Who are you? The world may never know. Unless someone out there sees this and goes, hey, I know what that is. And if you do, please feel free to let me know in the comments over yonder, or in the comment section down below when this is posted. Anyway, so that's him. Put him over there on top of the Horrorland horror. And I think we've only got one more mask in this box to take a look at. Just gotta dig through all these Walmart bags and hope that there aren't any spiders in there. I have not seen that scene, but we'll have to now. Yeah, it's only the intro skit to that particular video, but I had a lot of fun making it. Hopefully it shows in the video. Okay, all right. The last mask in the box. This one reminds me of a mask from the movie Monster House. If y'all have seen that movie, there's a bit towards the beginning where the two kids... Sorry, the mask's just toppled over. Anyway, where the two kids, the blonde kid and the skinny kid with the black hair, are trying to basically knock the house out by sending a vacuum cleaner dressed up as a trick-or-treater that's loaded up with cough syrup to the house. And the mask that they put on the vacuum looked, in my opinion, very similar to this dude right here. And just, this is just such a wild, weird-looking mask. It's like a nice thick rubber, or it's vinyl. It says copyright 2001, the Paper Magic Group Incorporated, all rights reserved, made in China. And he's just like this weird warty alien with like big pointy ears. Just something about the derpy like teeth he's got going on. It's just something cool about him. I don't know. I can't explain it. So there you go. Those are the masks that I got in that Goodwill haul. Now I've got a couple other masks. But before I get to them, I'm going to kind of put these all back in the box real quick. Free up some space so I'm not just trapped back here in this corner with all my stuff. Plastic mask. Flimsy plastic mask will put you in last. The giant torn up head. Freddy Krueger, get you in there. The gloves. And now for the flimsy plastic mask. Okay. All right, that's it for that box. Just shove it out of the way over yonder. All right. I know, right? Okay. So these next two masks are kind of nostalgic for me. I will start off with I'll get to the most nostalgic one for me in a minute. I'll start off with the second most nostalgic. And that would be, I'm sure you've seen this in my videos recently. That would be this busted open, exposed brain, bloody skull with this nice white hair draped off the back. Now, the reason why this one is nostalgic for me is when I was still living with my parents, my grandmother was working at a thrift store. It was called Alpha Enterprises, and they're now long since defunct. They went out of business 5, 10 years ago. Dang. But in one of the boxes, because they would sort out all the donations they were giving, they had a bunch of Halloween stuff. Stuff like a giant animated Frankenstein head that you'd put on your door as like a greeter, and it would sing, "Who can it be now? Who can it be knocking at my door? Go away. Don't you invade my home." And the whole time the mouse just going like, like those things do. And there were a couple other things, but one of the things that I saw in that box that I really wanted, and my grandmother actually let me get, was a mask just like this. Unfortunately, it's not this exact mask because I wanted to drop into Oktoberfest for a second. Oh, whatever. Because yours Ghoulie was an idiot and decided to use that on a scarecrow for the small garden my dad had growing in the backyard behind our garage. So I just took one of my old T-shirts, a couple sticks from the yard, and this mask, well, one of these masks, and put it together and used that. And then basically the mask was still fine, but I was too worried that it had like spiders and bugs and stuff inside of it. So when the scarecrow fell apart, I just threw the whole thing away. And I'd almost forgotten about that mask until I was going through some family photos. And apparently, my younger self decided to take a disposable camera and during the night, went out into the backyard before we got rid of the scarecrow. Like the arms had already fallen off and were basically just hanging on by the shirt, which was like stuck on a stick on the back of the branch. And I wound up taking a photo of it, and that was the only evidence I had of this mask. And thankfully, I still had that photo, and I was able to go on to Facebook. And one of the groups that I've joined on Facebook is mask collecting. It's about mask collecting and trading and such. And I took a picture of that photograph with my phone, posted it on there, and was asking if anyone knew of this mask, anyone knew what it was, if anyone had an extra one. And by some miracle, one of the dudes on that particular Facebook group had an extra one. And so a little exchange of money via PayPal and a few days of waiting for the shipping, and voila, I now own this thing again. And honestly, I'm really happy that I do. And here's one of the weird things. One thing that I remembered the most about this goofy ghoul right here, I don't know how well it's going to show on camera, but this tooth right here has some kind of a weird like chip out of it, like a really friggin' big cavity. And I just remember when I had the other mask originally, I was fascinated with that. Of all the things about this mask, like I thought the brain was cool, how it's got like this one weird lump right here at the top. But I was just fascinated with that stupid cavity in his mouth. I don't know why. So yeah, that's my story about why I'm nostalgic for this mask. And I'm just glad I have one again. Now let's put that back up here. And I will talk about the last little mask I'm going to ramble about because it's the last one I have currently in this room, that I have easy access to. Well, quote unquote easy access to. Actually, before I get to that one, I just realized looking over there, there's one more thing from that Goodwill haul that I didn't talk about. Y'all have seen it in one of my previous videos, well, several, but regardless, it's worth talking about again. Oh, shit. It was sitting on my Ninja Turtle shelf, and apparently mutating Toka over here decided he wanted to come over and say hello to the viewers. So, say hello. Hello. Okay, now you go back. As a matter of fact, we're just going to toss you in over here in the background. I'm not your mom. But anyway, and the last from the Goodwill haul was this. It's a doctor's thingamabob. It's made out of vinyl. It's got like the cloth or the nice faux hair. Yep, and it was made in 2012 by In Character, and there you go. Not a whole lot to say about that one, although it is kind of a fun one. Now then, for the last of the nostalgic masks, we have. Whoop, sorry, I bumped into my acoustic guitar over here. We have a mask, which is not the exact one, but I wore another mask of this same character, this same mold, the very last time I ever went trick-or-treating. And I don't know why, but just talking about it's making me a little bit emotional. But this beat up, torn up, old 1987 Freddy Krueger mask. I believe this was made by Don Post Studios. And I also believe that this Freddy mask was available through the Freddy Krueger fan club. I don't know if it was exclusively through there, but it came with uh, this foam hat, this foam fedora, and just it may be torn up, it may be basically ruined, but I don't care. This mask holds a special place to me because like I just said, I wore one of these the very last time I went trick or treating, ever. And I still remember because unfortunately I hit, we'll say, my growth spurt. You know, I hit puberty at a very early age, and I shot up like a weed. I've been over 6 foot tall for most of my life. And because I was such a tall person, and of course by this point my voice had dropped to basically where it is now, one of the last few houses that I went to, I walked up to the door with my trick or treat bag. The guy just looked up at me, kind of squinted his eyes, and he was like, "Aren't you a little old to be trick or treating?" Can you believe that nonsense? I mean, I get it. I'm a big guy wearing an old Halloween mask, wearing like an old Halloween costume, but really? All these years later, that still irks me remembering that. And I just looked at him and just told him bluntly, "Come on, man, it's my last Halloween." So then he just dropped a couple of candies in my bag. I nodded to him and I walked off. That almost ruined the night for me, that one jerk, but I powered through it. But anyway, like I was saying, sorry, remembering my last Halloween, like my last Halloween where I got to go trick or treating, it hurts. Yep, I did. But anyway, what was I going to say? Oh, right. With that other mask that I had, my grandmother had given it to me. It was, she got it from the same thrift shop she was working at. The hat had a big old tear out of the brim of it. And I didn't care though. I was just obsessed with 80s stuff, and I still kind of am. And just a friggin' Freddy Krueger mask. I had never seen one before in person other than, you know, ones like this. When I was looking it over and I saw the year on the back, saw it was an actual 1980s Freddy Krueger mask, I was excited. And initially, my grandmother was just going to take it back to the thrift store when I was done wearing it. And I basically just was like, actually, can I keep that? And she was just gave me a weird look. She was like, sure. But yeah. One of the things that really sucked, though, other than the guy saying, aren't you a little too old for this, was the hat, like I was referring to. If you notice, they come off really easily. It just kind of slides back and forth on the head. Apparently, at some point during my trick or treating, the wind must have blown it clean off of my head or someone snatched it while I wasn't paying attention. But I left the house like this and I returned like this. Never found the hat again. Never seen it again. And there you go. I gotta put this thing down or I'm gonna get too emotional. Yeah, so there you have it. That has been my Halloween mask collection, or at least the ones I have at hand. So, anything else y'all would like me to show off? Anything else you want me to talk about? Got any more questions? I'm here for your questions. Bring them on. There's something I can show off. My bad dancing skills. That's enough of that. Let's see. Mine was a Frankenstein mask for my last Halloween. Had an older gentleman ask if I was a little too old as well, and I had to tell the guy that it was my last year too. Feel the pain, bud. Yeah, just some people don't think. But I'm kind of glad for that because if it weren't for people like that, then, you know, oh, wait a minute. Another commercial. Initially, I was interested in checking out that Loki show. At least I would have been if I had cable. But then just seeing that stupid commercial, I'm Loki from Asgard, and you have no idea what you're dealing with, or you will be severely punished, or whatever. It's like, we get it, Tom Hiddleston. Shut up. But yeah, if it weren't for people like that, just the good old school Halloween memories wouldn't be as good as they are. I think I inhaled some of the synthetic hairs from some of those masks. My throat's starting to get a little messed up. Oh, all right. While I'm waiting for more suggestions, I've got another interesting little thing I can show off a little bit. One of my favorite vintage Halloween decorations. This little ghoulie. Now, I know next to nil about this thing. I don't know who made it. All I can say is this thing looks like it came from the 80s. It might be from the early 90s. I don't know. All I know is when he's got batteries in him, he's got a little light sensor right here in the tip of his nose. And when you throw a couple of batteries in him and you go like this, well, here, got my VCR remote, which takes double A's, so I can actually demonstrate fairly easily. But the reason why I like this of my Halloween decorations the most is because of the sound it makes. I've just been kind of enamored, if you will, by the particular cackle that emanates from this. If you're someone who grew up in the 80s or 90s, or early 90s, I should say, you know the cackle I'm talking about. With that said, let's see if he's going to work. Don't know if these batteries have enough juice to actually make him do his thing, but here's hoping. Again, small little headphone warning, just in case, because I know it's a little loud. All right, it's got enough power to make the speaker go, but come on. There we go. And one more time, get him going again. I just love that cackle. That is so nostalgic to me. And they don't make stuff that does that anymore. It's sad. Bring back the cackle. I just really love this thing. It's like a zombie skull. It's got like maggots and stuff crawling out of the mouth and the eye hole there. Not to mention that when it stops moving, the eyes go like bang, go all cockeyed like that. I love it. All right. So now we put the batteries back into the remote control where they belong. Pardon me. Goodness gracious. All right, but got another thing I can show off. Let me double check. I believe I know. Yes. Another creepy little nostalgic item I have. Whoops, a daisy. Turn that around. Oh, that's my old address. But regardless, I don't want anyone going to that address or, using my old address to try and dox me. But in this box, let's see. I love the vintage Halloween stuff. Sound is iconic, and they used that sounds in multiple horror movies, like with dolls, clowns, etc. They don't make things like that. Is very true. Come on now, Arby's. Oh, it's an unskippable ad. Okay, I'll just talk over it. Blah blah blah. Arby's has things and stuff. Blah blah blah. I have a lot more stuff than Arby's does, but I don't have as much meat as they do. Shut up, Arby's. Go away. Okay. Sorry, I just don't want to get copyright claimed on this video because during my live stream last time, the Thankmas stream, apparently that one specific audio track from Sonic the Hedgehog got me copyright claimed. I mean, I'm not making money off these videos currently, but if and when I get to the point where I'm able to monetize my videos, that one's not eligible just because of that one specific track. Anyway, back to this. So, one very specific nostalgic toy that I own and that I had as a kid was a Dr. Dreadful set. I think I may have already talked about this at some point in the past. If I have, then I have. If I haven't, then I haven't. But the item in question is the Dr. Dreadful Squeam Lab. It may not look like much as I hold it presently, but just give me a second to put this thing together, and you'll see why I love it. Put that there. We put the thingies right here and right here. Then let's see, put this one here. Pardon for any squeaks you might hear. This is old plastic that I'm setting up. And aha! The vintage Tyco Dr. Dreadful Squeam Lab in all its glory. I had this exact set, well, this was not my set from a child, but I had this set when I was a kid. And I only got to play with it like 1 or 2 times. Then we had an issue that the last time that I played with it, actually made the candy that goes along with it, which I have a complete set of. Unfortunately, my favorite flavor has already been opened, so I'm not going to be able to test it when I do eventually do this set for a video. But I remember very specifically. Oh, we got another one. Okay, vor.ngo. Okay, so nobody go outside. That's what it says. Nobody go outside because there are horrible giant mutant things out there and they're coming to get you, especially if your name is Barbara. I'm very impressed with your... Oh, well, thank you. It's taken years to amass all this stuff, and honestly, I'm impressed with it too. Just some of this stuff, like this, I was surprised as all get out when I found this thing for the deal that I found it for online. It was this along with an extra drink lab and pieces from the Dr. Dreadful the heart lab. I forget exactly what it was called. But they were all mixed together, and I think I got the whole thing for, it was between 20 and 30 bucks. I can't remember. But anyway, getting back to my one specific memory with this. The last time that I got to play with this, before it got thrown away, my mother, I think it was, set it up for me. She got the beaker, or the syringe set up. She put the green powder in there, which tasted like lime. And then she mixed it up with a little stir stick thingy. She popped the shrunken head right onto the end of the syringe and got it nice and tight on there, like that. And then She pushed up on the plunger, and I got to lick the green goop off of his nose and mouth. Just, It was honestly very good, and because of the fact that it came from a powder, it was the best I can equate it to was sweet Kool-Aid sludge, but with kind of a grit to it because all the sugar that was in it. It may not sound very great, but trust me, when you're a kid, that stuff is awesome. And I've been wanting to recreate that by doing this kit again, but until I can get an unopened pack of the original Dr. Dreadful Squeam Lab Lime stuff, I can't do it. I want to so bad. I never actually got to try the other flavors. I only got to try the lime. And then this thing, I believe, got put away while it was still dirty. Like it still was crusted with the green Dr. Dreadful goop on it. And that attracted ants. And my parents said no. So the whole thing, lock, stock, and barrel, just got chucked into the trash instead of getting cleaned up and put back properly. Thanks, Mom and Dad. I know neither of them are going to be watching this stream, but I want to say thank you with a certain finger. We'll just do the inverse. No, I can't do the inverse of that because that looks like something else. Anyway, it's moving on. We're not here to have myself get mad thinking about stupid stuff like that. They had the reasons for throwing it away, even if they're wrong. So I'm going to plunk all this stuff back down in the box and think about something else to show off while I'm doing so. At least something in this room that I can grab and hold up in front of the camera and go, hey, everybody, words. All right. So let's see, things I haven't shown off yet, and things that I don't mind showing off today. That's something that's been kind of in the backdrop of my videos all the way since Oktoberfest of 2021, this past Oktoberfest. Give me a moment to move my keyboard out of the way. This is something that I wanted to do a video on for this past Oktoberfest, but just the way things happened, just completely lost track of time, plus dealing with all these other life things that jumped up, I just didn't have time to get to it. And I'm not going to go too in-depth on this thing because I'm planning on making that video next year, this coming October. But the item in question that I'm very slowly digging out from this shelf, this is not an original, but I do have an original, it just doesn't have the box. Creepy Crawler's Thing Maker, or in this case, Bug Maker. Now, this one was released in the early 2000s, I believe. I'm trying to find the copyright year on it. Okay, that information is probably right here on this corner. Nope. Here we go. Made in 2006 by Jack's Pacific. I forget when the original, who released the original. I think it might have been Tonka. I might be wrong on that. But regardless, this is another set that I want to do a review on. I managed to pick up an original, well, not an original, a vintage 90s set. It was the Thing Maker machine with a bunch of the extra little metal trays to go with it, but it had none of the plastic goop. This one, however, when I picked it up at the flea market this past summer, actually does have some of the plastic goop with it, so I can actually demonstrate. So that's going to be another fun one to do. And let's see. The only real problem with that? I always wanted one of those. Me too. I wanted one so bad. And I've actually got another family-related story involving those that also ends badly. Our next-door neighbors, when I was staying with my grandparents, or their neighbors, were going through their house and like throwing out a bunch of stuff. And one of the things they threw away was, in fact, one of those 1990s Tonka Creepy Crawlers Thing Makers in the box, complete, had everything with it. It was like brand new. The box was a bit beat up, obviously, because I just tossed it into the trash and didn't give it a second thought. Hold on, gotta try and skip this ad. Oh, no, it's not. It's one of those non-skippable ads. But anyway, my grandparents' neighbors had thrown that away. And me being the not entrepreneur, the opportunist that I am, and at the time, like pseudo trash picker, just snuck over there, grabbed it, and like darted back over to my grandparents' garage because their trash can was like right at the end of their driveway, which was across from my grandparents' driveway, which was at the end of their garage, obviously. I saw this there. I grabbed it, brought it home, and it worked. The light bulb worked. It wasn't blown or anything. It was really cool. It had a bunch of plastic goop with it. I was excited about it. And I actually got to use it a few times. Made a couple little creepy crawlers things. Oh, and another thing that got thrown away that I actually grabbed onto, I think it was from there, either that or it was from my grandmother's thrift store job, was like a big pretzel container filled with like creepy crawler thingies. There were a lot of Toy Story ones, there were Power Ranger ones, bugs, all kinds of fun stuff. Just like literally a stack that big by like that wide inside this plastic barrel. So I brought the thing home, got to use it a few times, and then the light bulb blew. And me being the kind of idiot that I was at the time, I didn't know exactly how to, get it open so I could replace the bulb. Well, one of my grandparents, or not grandparents, one of my uncles, he was an older person, so I always associated him with being a grandparent, happened to be there at the time, and I asked him, "Hey, do you know how to get this open to get the bulb out?" He was like, "Yeah, sure." Takes it, looks it over a little bit, gets a handhold up on the green plastic part at the top, a handhold on the orange part at the bottom, wrenches the thing in half, just like rips the plastic in half, goes, "There you go," just hands it back to me. Completely freaking destroyed it. And just happy as a clam as he did it. To this day, I'm still mad about that, even though, rest his soul, he passed away earlier this year from the disease that shan't be named. But as much as I want to forgive him, I've been trying to forgive people for all of the stupid things that I've just been holding on to over the years. As you can tell, because I know my face is turning red. I haven't quite let go of everything yet. It's a process, but just reliving that moment, I was so mad, but there was nothing I could do. So I just took it back. I was like, thank you. Trying very hard to not rage at him, and just took my broken thing maker and put it somewhere. Then after he left, I showed my grandmother what he had done, and I was like, "Did you see what it?" I was complaining to her about it, and she's like, "Oh," and then she threw it away. Oh, thank you for your condolences. Um, yeah, I was livid. I was so mad, and there was nothing I could do about it. It was destroyed. The only way to put it back together would have been to super glue the thing shut, and even then, it would have had like big cracks and stuff on the side of it. And I just mournfully put it back in the box, took it out to my grandparents' trash can, and just dropped it right in on top of the trash. I thought I was over it until I brought it up just now. Skip ad, next video. So, yeah. And it's a weird feeling because I am sad that he's not with us anymore. Oh, got another one. Okay, let's see. What can we come up for this one? Um, Nancy goes offline. Nancy goes offline. But why does she go offline? The internet's such a nice place to be, depending on where you are. Like our comment section right here. This is a fairly nice place to be. It's got nice people to talk to. But anyway, yeah, it's weird. I'm saddened by his loss, but remembering things like that, just I get mad at him, but he's gone. It's weird. Now having gotten that off my chest, it's a strange feeling. I didn't think that this quick little Q&A live stream was going to turn into counseling session, but here we are. Okay. Sorry, give me a second to think. Uh, Now that I vented that frustration, I've got to decide what else. Oh, there we go. Okay. Actually, no, that's not really a very entertaining thing. Um, okay. Speaking of Halloween, I happen to have an exclusive. I think this was made by Spencer Gifts back in the either late 90s or early 2000s. Michael Myers doll. Just excuse me for one moment. Now, this thing has a little push button on it. See, he's essentially what Hot Topic was going for at the time, or the company that made this, I should say. They were going for a similar aesthetic to the old Matchbox Freddy Krueger doll, and for the most part, they succeeded. I mean, these two basically look like they would have been on the store shelves around the same time. Yeah, they're similar style plastic shoes. They even basically copied Freddy's unburned hand. They're like, see, here's his burned hand, one that's exposed without the glove. And Michael here has a very similar aesthetic. He even has the kind of flexed pinky going on. Now, one thing that's, oh, we got another one. Okay, let's see. Francis yanked it. Francis, what are you yanking? Francis, what are you yanking? Hey, Francis, put that thing away. We don't do that kind of thing around here. But anyway, so like I was saying, very similar style to old Freddy here. One thing that's very different about them is that with Freddy, obviously, he has a nice little pull string that makes him talk. In case you missed it, he said, "Welcome to Elm Street." Michael here, on the other hand, because, Michael Myers literally doesn't say anything, the most you get is, breathing from inside the mask. He plays the Halloween theme, but I would demonstrate, but again, I don't want to get a copyright flag against me, so okay, I'll demonstrate it for a couple of seconds, and I'll take him off camera real quick. He's got a battery-operated talk box. Oh, there's another one. Let's see. Ferdinand's yellow igloo. Ferdinand's yellow igloo. Did he make it out of yellow snow? Hopefully it's lemon flavored and not the other kind of yellow snow. But anyway, he's got a battery powered talk box, and when you push it, he goes. Okay, so now we quickly put him over here while I talk over him for just another couple seconds. There we are. But he plays the entire dee-doo-doo, dee-doo-doo, dee-doo, dee-doo, dee-doo-doo. He also comes with what I did not know at the time, but I figured out later, a removable little kitchen knife slots into his hand right there. And of course, just like Freddy, he is posable. So you could have him, whoops, there it goes again, dip up, and then we do the thing with the tartar sauce. You put that on the chicken sandwich, and it tastes great. But anyway, you can pose him like he's getting ready to stab someone. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a hole through the entirety of his hand. It can only go in the top. Otherwise, I would love to have him just like reaching up and just preparing to like Yeah, just stab you down in the, stab you. Ah, dang it. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Someone had potato salad. It was delicious. You would never guess it was so delicious because they used prawn sauce. Anyway, uh, his whole body, or all of his limbs are posable, so you can do all kinds of stuff with him. And I have actually, at one point, thought of doing a stop motion animation with either Michael here or Freddy, but I just haven't gotten to it yet. Anyway, that's been them. All right, so let's pause on that for a moment because I'm going to see if anyone has any more questions for yours truly. It can be about anything. That's awesome. I've seen a guy selling one close to that for well over 600. Not sure if they got it though. Yeah, for whatever reason, these were apparently made in limited supply. So the Spencer's Gifts figures, they made another Freddy Krueger. They made Michael here. I believe they also made a Crypt Keeper. He's different than the one I've got, but it was like a tuxedo Crypt Keeper with, I think he had a cloth body, and I don't think he actually talked. This one, however, as y'all might already be aware, at least you should be aware, does talk. Even if his voice box is, it's got that 90s kind of squeal to it. You know what I'm talking about. Don't you, Crypty? I'm still so glad I was finally able to get one of these. I still have yet to be able to track down for a good price the Hawaiian Vacation Crypt Keeper, which is literally this exact same action figure, says the same phrases. He's just dressed up like he's going for a Hawaiian vacation. He's got the Hawaiian shirt. He's got the lei around his neck. He's got a sun hat and shorts, showing off those hilariously corpseified legs of his. There's actually another set of things that I wanted to talk about during Oktoberfest this year, but again, I just couldn't get things together in time to be able to do that particular video. Before I get to that, though, I'm going to have to pause right here real quick because I got to use the bathroom. I'll be right back. Just let me go ahead and throw up the be right back thing, and I'll see you soon. Enjoy the music while I'm gone, and hopefully no copyrighted commercials start to play. Won't be more than a couple minutes, folks. Okay, y'all, I have returned. Got to get back around in front of my camera. And there I am. Okay, get this going again, get that going again. It's the Great Pumpkin, says Country Boy Cotton. And you would be right. That is a great pumpkin. It's also another one of my favorite vintage Halloween decoration finds. That came from the Goodwill. The weird thing is, it was completely out of season when I found that. Like, they didn't have really any Halloween stuff. Nothing was just randomly sitting on a shelf over with all the electronic stuff. I don't think I paid more than like $1, maybe $2 for him. The light still works. The only problem is he was a little dusty and he's got some cobwebs up inside him. But those are really hard to get out of something like that. Friggin' another commercial. Okay. So, the next set of things I wanted to discuss during Oktoberfest this year, but again, was unable to. I'll just do something quick with them. I can do a more in-depth video with them this Oktoberfest. I managed to pick up. No, you don't, Crypt Keeper. You stay right where you're put, mister. I managed to pick up a near complete set of the Addams Family action figures made by Playmates Toys back in 1992. And I managed to pick up one carded Uncle Fester. And I got him in a trade for a bunch of other stuff. I had some busted Ninja Turtles and a couple other things, some Dick Tracy figures that, they were just taking up space because I had like doubles and triples of those Dick Tracy figures. But I traded those to this guy for this Uncle Fester and for one of the harder to find Ninja Turtles mini mutant playsets, which he was only willing to trade to me that. He had a bunch of other hard to find Ninja Turtle stuff, but he was only willing to trade me that because of the fact that it had a broken leg. Yeah, he was one of those kind of people. No offense to him if he watches this. I highly doubt that he'll actually watch it, but no offense to you if you're watching. But yeah, we got Uncle Fester here on the original card. I've also got, set him back over there. I've also got a loose Uncle Fester. I've got Morticia. I got Lurch. Oh, you rang. Then I've got Granny, aka Grandmama. And I got Pugsley. The only one of the actually released figures that I have yet to be able to find for a decent price and loose has been Gomez of all the characters. And the thing that really sucks, I was able to get all of these literally this whole grouping right here in my hand. I got these for less than $30, but they are all missing everything. They're missing all of their accessories. On the bright side, they still kind of work. Their functions still kind of do their things. Some of them, however, need a little bit of help to do what they're supposed to do. Like you're supposed to squeeze Pugsley's legs together and his hand raises up. I gotta get going, dude. I'm running to the bank, then off to work. Have a great night. Thank you, Country Boy Cotton. Same to you, dude. Thankfully, I'm not going to work until tomorrow, so have a good night at work, and I'll see you in the next video, or see you in the next stream. Cowabunga, my dude. Anyway, so that's them. Moving on to Well, there's what else can I really talk about? Stuff that I haven't talked about. Oh, and one of the other things that kind of sucks about these figures, some of them do not like to stand on their own, like at all. Like case in point, Grandma there, or Grandmama, she has this habit where you'll stand her up all nice and neat, and as soon as you let your hand off of her, she just like blap, topples over. Very top heavy figure with very teeny little feet that are very close together. Oh, okay. I'm not sure how much longer this video is, or how much longer this stream is going to go on. We'll see. I'm kind of starting to like this streaming format. But now then, let's see. I've talked about the Addams Family figures. I talked about my mask collection. Talked about Michael Myers over there. Talked about some of my vintage Halloween stuff. Let's see. I did that quick fun size review on the Mountain Dew Spark. That music may be copyrighted. Please let me skip this ad. Thank you. Yeah. What else? What else? Okay. Well. Okay. So I see that there are actually. Oh, we got another one. Let's see. Freddy yawned irritably. Frederick, my dude, what's up? What's got you so irritable? I mean, it's just a yawn. But I don't want to be yawning. The yawns suck. Yes, they kind of suck. I will admit that, but I don't know. What do you think of that little joke there, Freddy? That's what you always say. Besides, this isn't Elm Street. It's a different road entirely. Elm Street's 2 blocks down that way, Mr. Krueger. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So like I was starting to say before Abigail Walsh over there threw that in. As a matter of fact, before I get too much farther here, big shout out to all of those people. I would be too due to those comments they leave, lol. Oh, yeah, but I want to give a shout out to those dorkmeisters who keep throwing random links to stuff that I don't care about. So, for posterity, in case they go changing their user handles like Ventriloquist Fan 101 did, now known as Rex Gaming, gonna give a shout out to Abigail Walsh, a shout out to Remus Raymond, and a shout out to Sylvester Bradford for throwing up stuff that no one cares about. And now we'll ignore them for the rest of the stream, however much longer this goes on. I know exactly what the next thing is that I can talk about. And it's right here next to me on the floor. All right. Pardon me, Freddy Krueger mask from 1987. Pardon me, rubber animal wolf type gloves. And pardon me the rest. Get that out of the way. That out of the way. Grab these, move them out of the way as well. Such riveting things, aren't they? Okay. Whoop, whoop, whoop. No, you don't. No, you don't, guitar. You do not. But the next thing I have that I can talk about is a very obscure, and I believe this item to be relatively rare item, the zombie art set. There go more of my masks. Now, I know next to nil about this thing, and I can find nothing about it online. And as a matter of fact, it's the only thing that I've ever found about this thing online. I haven't found so much as a eBay auction about it. I haven't found anything on Google except for one picture, which was this set, loose, out of the box, with a monster face toy. That someone just happened to be talking about the monster face toy, and this was in the background near it. This thing was made by, carefully turn this thing around. This thing was made by a company called Planet Toys back in 2005. And that's about all I know about it. Literally, it's a zombie head that you can take different things off of. Like, one of the eyes is a paint dropper, the other eye is like a paintbrush. It's got 4 different lobes of the brain. Each one is a different paint color. I'm not going to get too far into detail on this thing because I am going to be making a video about this coming Oktoberfest. But I can share with you what it says on the side of the box. It says, if you have a head for art, here's everything you need to make it really scary. Monster marker, 4 gory brain paints, tooth decay stamp, vile rubber stamp, putrid paint claw, super sickening spatula, 6 ghostly pieces of paper, 2 gooey ear oozes, rotten tongue sponge, and eyeball paintbrush. This was yet another Goodwill find that I believe was only a couple bucks. Well, like I said, hopefully one of you viewers at home, or just someone who watches this down the line after it's been archived onto YouTube, will be able to give me some insight and some information about this thing, because I even took this thing, or took the description of this thing. Actually, no, I took this entire box to a local toy shop, and they had never seen it before. They knew nothing about this thing either. Oh, but that's how much I paid for it. It's written right there. I paid $5 for it. Sorry, that just came back to me because of the fact that the glare from the lamp illuminated the 5. Anyways, that is another thing that y'all will be getting to see in greater detail in the future. All right. Now, just gonna pause what I'm doing for a second. Pop my Mountain Dew spark into my handy dandy claw glove koozie and wait for a question. All right, to my one viewer who's actually showing up, it might be Country Boy Cotton, and if it is, cool. And if it isn't, also cool. So to my viewer and now viewers watching, give me your questions. What do you want to know? Ask this ghoul whatever comes to mind, within reason. No. Shut up, commercial. Get off the screen. Get off of the screen. Any questions, anyone? This is supposed to be a Q&A stream. I mean, if no one's going to ask me anything, I can just sit here and dance badly. Oh, that was actually another memory I have with that Freddy Krueger mask over there. Way early in my channel's life, I actually wore, I think, that exact mask. Excuse me, oh my goodness. Sorry to any headphone wearing users, but I actually wore that exact mask in a video in which I danced to one of the hit songs, at least in my opinion, hit songs from the 1990s Nickelodeon movie Good Burger, I'm a Dude. But I wore the whole costume, had the glove, had the costume shirt that I had at the time and still do. Just put the hat on and was just like, I'm a dude. He's a dude. We're all dudes. Yeah, I can't sing too much of that for copyright reasons. Although surprisingly, that video has not been copyright claimed or anything with it, even though it's got the entire friggin' song playing on it. So here I go dancing badly. And if anyone's interested in that particular video, I don't mind actually going back. Found a few people selling that zombie art set. It must have been very limited. I'm going to do more research later on that company. All right, thank you very much, Country Boy Cotton. Much obliged. Okay. I guess just at the time, no one had one up for sale because I mean, I scoured the internet looking for anything on that goofy set. There was nothing. Got an idea that might change things a little bit. See if changing one little thing. See, can I? Let's go to edit video. I might cut out for a second. Sorry if I do. All right, change the setting. Let's see, show more. Because currently I have this under people and vlogs. So maybe if I change that, if I'm able to, there we go, people and blogs. Let's go for entertainment. Where is the entertainment thing? There we go, entertainment. All right, let's see if it brings me back to the live stream. Okay, and then we click close. Click back over there. Okay, it's not taking me back to the stream, so pardonnez-moi. Oh yeah, I'm back up to 124 subscribers again. Woo! It dropped down to 123 within the last 24 hours. Now it's back up again. Okay, so back into the stream. There I am. Okay, and I'm seeing comments from Country Boy Cotton. I'll read that in a second. Where did I put my tissues? There they are. Whoops. Don't you hate it when that happens? Like, there'll be one tissue that's perfectly normal. There'll be another one that's like half attached for some reason. Like, literally, that's one ply of the next tissue in the box. Or no, I know those. Yeah, anyway. Just gonna put up a more visually appealing screen while I take care of my nose. One moment. Enjoy the music while I blow my nose. Okay, all done. All better. My sinuses have been cleared for the moment. Hopefully that wasn't too loud for y'all. All right. So back to this. Let me bring up that again. Okay, so grab my drink, and what is it you said? That was weird. Something just fell down behind me. Okay, but let's see. Oh, wait a minute. Why is it still flashing that? I switched it back. Oh, it's just even more delayed now than it was before. Got it. Okay, so what did you say, Country Boy Cotton? Because because the way it seems looks like Toys R Us knocked Planet Toys out of business. Maybe LOL, I'll have to read about it later. Oh, okay. Very interesting. And I actually mean that. I'm fairly interested in the history of toys. That's why for a little while there, I was kind of obsessed with the Netflix original series, The Toys That Made Us, not sponsored, because they just shine a light on these toy companies and these different, old school properties and stuff that you wouldn't even think of. They actually get a hold of people like, I believe they actually did a video on the very first G.I. Joe, pardon? The old G.I. Joes from the 1960s and 70s. And they were able to get a hold of the guy who originally sculpted G.I. Joe. And apparently there was originally a bit of a to-do between the guy who created it, because there was another guy who said he had actually created G.I. Joe. Well, this guy said that he was the one who created it, and he got the credit for it. And here's the little bit of a little interesting thing. They were going to get the guy who said he was the one who created it first, the one who claimed to be the guy who created G.I. Joe. They were going to get him in for an interview. And unfortunately, within that week, that person passed away. So the only proof that they have, the only evidence that they have of him was a voice recording on their that they did of a phone interview with the guy. That was the only footage they had to verify anything, which is really sad if you think about it. But they've spoken of the G.I. Joes from back in the 60s all the way up through the 80s G.I. Joes when they shrank them down to the size of Star Wars figures. And we got another commercial with music that might be copyrightable, so skip that ad. They've talked about the Masters of the Universe toy line. They've talked about My Little Pony, Barbie, and one toy line that's near and dear to my heart, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There's one thing I'm very happy for when it comes to the Toys That Made Us. They were able to get Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird back together again. I didn't even know the two had been, the two creators had become estranged from each other until within the last couple of years. Because the only thing that I knew about them was from a behind-the-scenes, the making of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze VHS tape that I have, where it actually talks with the creators, Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, and it's an early interview with them where they're discussing how they came up with different character concepts. Case in point, the Shredder. Oh, you're talking about the Toys That Made Us? Yeah, it's actually a really cool show. I do recommend it. There's some things that you might not care about, like My Little Ponies or Barbies, but they've got a bunch of other cool toys that they talk about on that series. But getting back over to what I was saying before, they talk about the origins of creating the Shredder, which was literally, I think it was Kevin Eastman was the one. He's the younger of the two. He was screwing around in their apartment, and he just happened to put a cheese grater on his arm, and he was put it through and grabbed onto the handle, and he was thinking about how deadly lethal of a weapon that would be, and from that they came up with the Shredder. Silly stuff like that they were talking about in that interview from that old videotape was pretty much the most I knew about them. Then fast forward the clock, and then I find out through a YouTube video, I think, or I just stumbled upon something while Googling Ninja Turtles stuff, that, they had become estranged. And that really kind of sucked. And then finding out that the Toys That Made Us crew was able to get them back together into the same room, like I already said. And we find out, well, I don't want to give too much away because, the more I say now, the less is going to be a surprise when you see the show. So I'll just kind of cut it there, but it was amazing seeing that. All right, now that I've spoken about that, let's see, what else? What else can I talk about? I've actually got another thing in my collection, another collection within my collection of collections, as it were, that not a lot of people have. In my possession, this dork right here in front of you, have a near complete set of the 1990s Stretch Armstrong action figures. Give me just a moment. I'll bring them on over. Gonna have to leave the room for a second to grab one of the things I've stored in another room. So just bear with me, folks. Shouldn't take more than a minute. Let's see where to put this guy. Set him over there. There we go. Out of the way. Use well. Go over here. And give me a sword. Come on. Don't bite me. Okay. Now we carefully, carefully, gently, step back out in front of the camera. So as I was saying, first of all, I know this is doubtful, but hello to any new viewers who have popped in while I was away. But as I was saying, on the floor next to me now, and yes, I know that that storage tub said G.I. Joe stuff on it. That's because originally, when I got that tub, I filled it with 80s G.I. Joe things that I picked up from one of my older uncles, or cousins. Yeah, it was one of my older cousins who actually just had a bunch of this stuff, and he sold it to me at a family yard sale, along with a Millennium Falcon and a bunch of other little bits and pieces. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that stuff. I sold those years ago and kind of regret it. We're here to talk about Stretch Armstrong, the world's first stretching superhero. Or sorry, America's favorite stretching hero. So, to give some backstory on why I have this collection, when I was much, much younger, back in the now disturbingly far off decade of the 1990s, my brother, whom was living with us, happened to have one of the little mini-sized Stretch Armstrongs, just like this one right here. Hopefully you can see him fairly well through the glare. And yours truly, myself, just thought that was the coolest toy I had ever seen, because obviously he can like stretch his arms, and it goes back to his original shape after a little bit. And the commercials on TV made him look amazing. And well, one day, while I was playing with my brother's Stretch Armstrong, he developed a tear in his armpit. And according to the packaging, what you can do to remedy that situation when your Stretch Armstrong has a tear is to simply put a Band-Aid over it. So I showed it to Mom. I was like, Mom, I ripped it. She's like, oh, that's okay. Here, bring it here. We went to the bathroom. She put a Band-Aid on it and thought everything was good. So I thought he was all fixed. Everything was good again. And after letting him sit for a while, and by a while I mean like 5 minutes, even less than that, considering I was a little kid and I was like, I want to play with toy now. I grabbed him, picked him up, stretched his arms, and the arm with the rip under the armpit nearly came off. The rubber just went rip, and like literally just a strip of his shoulder was left hanging on, and his arm was just like out to here. And as it came back, this clear goop started coming out, and I was like, So I did what any what any mature 6-year-old would do in a situation like that. I hit him in the bottom of my brother's trash can. When my brother found him after a while, I'm not sure how I found him, but he was mad. And I never saw another Stretch Armstrong again until years later. Because I got to a point where I was like searching through a website called retrojunk.com and just looking up random stuff. It's a website that caters to all kinds of retro things. At the time, it was mostly 80s and 90s stuff, like commercials, TV show intros, all kinds of fancy stuff like that. And one such commercial I found while digging through the site was a commercial for the original Stretch Armstrong. And I can't skip this ad. Okay. But it was a commercial for the original full-size Stretch Armstrong. And that just got me thinking about old Stretch again. Remembering the... Well, good for you, Tangmu. Hopefully it was only a fart. Anyway, so I got a hold of... No, what was it? Sorry, you just completely distracted me with that. Give me a second. I'll get back to what I was talking about. Oh, right. I didn't see another one of these Stretch Armstrong figures again for years. And one of the very first Stretch Armstrong figures I was able to add to my collection is actually on the shelf back here. I wanted to get myself one of the big Stretch Armstrongs, one of the full-sized ones that's got like the... No, that's not the first one I got. But I wanted to get one of the big corn syrup-filled Stretch Armstrongs. And the only one that I was able to find was not even actually Stretch Armstrong, but a very similar toy produced to coincide with the Fantastic Four movies. And so, my cousin, being the very nice guy that he was, gave me his Super Stretch Mr. Fantastic. And at first when I got him, he looked worse than this. Like his head was kind of just smushed down into his arm. Yeah, honestly, Country Boy Cotton, I was not expecting that, but it was kind of funny. It was like, okay. But anyway, his head was like just smashed down into his shoulder over on this side. So what I did over the course of a week, I think it was, I took this figure, put him into a big storage container filled with water that I microwaved to get the water super hot. Sorry, I've got something just like right in the corner of my eye and it does not want to leave. There we go, got it. But I put in a storage tub or a Tupperware bowl filled with hot water and just let it sit there until the corn syrup loosened up again. And then I would just slowly, methodically, just kind of massage his limbs back into the proper positions or get him started. But he would he'd cool down too fast. So eventually what I did is I like super nuked this bowl of water till it was, I don't want to say boiling, but it was close to. I set him in there and he just started to relax out a bit. Then I took a bunch of twist ties, wrapped him around his neck, and like hung him up in my closet on a coat hanger. And just over time, thanks to the heat and thanks to the pull of gravity, he was back in a normal position. But then when I got here to this new house, started paying on it and moved in, I had him standing straight up and down because I thought the corn syrup was hard enough. I mean, if you listen, ow, that stuff's hard as a rock. And I figured he was solid enough that he would just stand there and, he wouldn't like wilt or deform. But I was wrong. I stood him in there next to one of my 2003 Ninja Turtle playsets. And when I came back into that closet one day, I just happened to move something around and I saw him slumped over in the back of the shelf and I was just like, dang it. And if it wasn't obvious, the reason why my cousin gave him to me is due to that big rip right there in his abdomen. Yeah, it's a sad sight to see your superheroes reduced to that. But anyway, that was the first corn syrup filled Stretch Armstrong type figure I was able to get my hands on. Yes, yes, Loki from Asgard, and you will regret this. Moving on to the next video. But the next actual Stretch Armstrong figure I was able to get a hold of, and this is an original 1990s Cap Toys figure, because they're the ones who took over the rights and the production of Stretch Armstrongs during my childhood in the 1990s. Give me just a moment. I've got to dig him out from the bottom of the storage tub. Why he's in the bottom of the storage tub? Because, I don't know, I hate myself, I guess. And also, I wasn't expecting to make a video about him this soon. Okay, pick this up. Set this over here. But the, whoops, Daisy, what was that? Oh, yeah, like I was saying, was a Vac-Man. Now, I don't know how many of you know Vac-Man and Stretch Armstrong. Dag nabbit, that was a, I think I'm going to take this hat off for a bit. Keeps making my forehead itch. But it was an original 1990s Cap Toys Vac-Man, complete with the original pump. And I got this guy off of Craigslist. I don't know if that site's still around. I just remember there was a big controversy where a lot of not so pleasant stuff apparently happened. But contained within these, this cocoon of bags is that very Vac-Man figure that I picked up for $15 before shipping. There we go. One more bag, and then we will have the reveal. Here's the Orange Terror himself, Vac-Man. Now this guy, it's a lot easier to get a hold of for a decent price because considering he's not filled with corn syrup, it's not as hard to find. Well, he's easier to find undamaged than old Stretch is for some reason. And this one, thankfully, still works. The only problem is there's a bit of an air leak inside the gasket inside his head. So when you stretch him, you pump the air out of him and then you stretch him. He stays in that shape for a while, but then just slowly starts coming back into his normal shape. For the time being, I'm going to put him back in the bag and just set him off to the side. Another part of the reason why the Stretch Armstrong figures are nostalgic to me is when I was a kid, jumping back over to the nostalgia train, I didn't have a Stretch Armstrong per se. Like I said, my brother did. But one year for, I want to say it was a birthday, or no, it was a gift from when I got my tonsils removed. It was either just a Vac-Man, or not Vac-Man, an intergalactic Vac-Pack figure, or I got the Vac-Pack Factory. I think it was just a figure, because in the back of my mind, I remember it being this guy right here. This is an intergalactic Vac-Pack Cryo Ice Clawful. Let me double check myself, because I got a thing right here that I can use to check. Cryo Ice. Yeah, Cryo Ice Claudius, not Clawful. That was a Masters of the Universe villain. But I got a Cryo Ice Claudius. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, this was the first Stretch Armstrong figure. No, I know. Sorry, doing streams like this and not being able to edit, The first one was Vacman, and the first and only one I've ever found in person without having to look online was Claudius. That's what I was thinking of. Now, this guy, unfortunately, he's starting to show his age. He's got some rubber rot. If you see those cracks right there in front of his neck, his black lines. But this was $1 at the Streetsboro flea market. And then he, when I got him, only had his chest here. Thanks to an eBay auction, I was able to get his weapon, but I don't have the projectile for it. But there was a whole set of these. There were like regular ones of these guys. There were these, like almost Captain Planet elemental type figures, like Cryo Ice Claudius here. Then in my lap, or on my lap here, I have Fusion Fire Grapplor with the original box, even though the box itself has been opened. And someone went ahead and just stapled the box shut again. You can kind of see one of the staples poking out right there. That is awesome. I used to have a Stretch Armstrong, but after a while it kind of wasn't stretchy no more. Yeah, that's one of the bad things about these toys is just the rubber doesn't last, especially for the original Stretch Armstrongs back in the 70s. If you can find one of those things, that's a fair chunk of change. So I think their values might be dropping a little bit. I've noticed with a lot of things in the past where I'm like, yeah, I've got this thing here and it's actually worth like blah $100, and I look it up on eBay later and I see the sold listings are like several $100s less than what I said it was. So I don't know exactly what's going on there. And the only thing I can think of for why this guy was stapled back into his box is I'm guessing back in the 90s, some little kid grabbed this off the shelf, just like tore it open and started playing with him right there in the store. Then the parents come over, like grab on him, like, make him put it down and like walk off, leaving the toy on the shelf. And then someone's got to come along, some employee has to come back and be like, dang it, put it back in there, and put it back up for sale at a reduced price because it's not brand new anymore. So that had nothing to do with anything we've been talking about. Okay, so anyway, this was another figure I found. This guy was an eBay purchase, and that's only because he was for a reasonable price. When it comes to everything in my collection, if it's not the right price, I usually don't pick it up. Even if it's something that I've been needing, something that, like, if I have the money for it, but I know that I could use that money for something else, and if that money is, like, in the triple digits, sometimes if the money's only in the double digits, but it goes above $30, I'll back off. But there are other things in my collection that when they hit a certain price point, like when I'm looking for it and I find something like, say, Ninja Turtles Stretch Armstrong, because yes, these existed. I told myself I wasn't going to pay more than $30 for one of these. I didn't even want to pay 20. I wanted to pay like some teen odd dollars, between $11 and $19. But I got desperate because when you find these guys online, their prices are usually, they're up there, especially nowadays since the Toys That Made Us episode came out talking about the Ninja Turtles, and got more people thinking about the Ninja Turtles, and got people into collecting these things. And especially within the last year or so, because you can't really go out and do much. There's all these people that now have all this free time to hop on the internet and start buying up all this stuff. But it's a natural thing that happens. Anyway, getting to the point, I paid $35 for this guy because that was the lowest price that I could find on eBay at the time. And to this point, I think that's still one of the lowest prices on eBay right now. I'd look it up, but we're in midstream, so. Anyways, so there's that part of my Ninja Turtle collection. I still need the other 4 figures: Leo, Mikey, Donatello, and the Shredder. Anyways, I'm focusing too much on one thing. So getting back to the actual Stretch Armstrongs, they made several full-size Stretch Armstrongs. That includes Vac-Man, original full-size Stretch, and they made Stretch Armstrong Ninja, and they made full-size Fetch Armstrong, Stretch Armstrong's dog. And for the longest time, I wanted to get a regular full-size Stretch Armstrong, but like I said just a few minutes ago, they're pretty expensive. So what I wound up settling for, and I actually kind of regret that decision now, the purchase at this time, was a very damaged Stretch Armstrong. Had the full outfit with it, no box, had leaks, had Band-Aid patches all over him. His arms were kind of just bloated out from all the corn syrup inside, just stretching the overstretched rubber. And when I got him, at first I was excited because it was only 20 bucks, and like all the other Stretch Armstrongs were going for 70 and up. Even though he was in such poor shape, I was happy to have him. Then I decided that I was going to see if I could get someone to repair him, because there is actually someone out there on a website called stretcharmstrongworld.com or .net, .org. Anyway, Stretch Armstrong World, who has a service where he repairs Stretch Armstrongs, going all the way back to the 70s Stretch Armstrongs and all the way up to the 1990s stretches. I reached out to them, sent them a couple of pictures, and they said, in that state, you might just want to throw it away. And that made me start going, I spent money on this. And you're telling me to throw it away? No, I will fix myself. And so I tried to fix him. I started trying to fix him, and when I was draining the corn syrup out of him, I unfortunately put a couple of rips in him, one right there in his neck. And then I'm going to skip this ad because I don't care about that. And then next video. But I put a couple rips in his neck, unfortunately. He had a couple of blowouts where the rubber was so thin that when the water got in there and started flushing out the corn syrup, it bubbled out and pop, burst through the rubber and water started pouring out of him. So that was my first full-sized Stretch Armstrong that I purchased. But he's still smiling. The strange thing is I could actually just, if I wanted to, I could just put his head and clothes up on eBay and I could still get like 30 bucks. Oh, we got another one. Okay, so Randy eats donuts. I can agree with that, Randy. Donuts are good. I would eat them too if I had some, but I don't. So enjoy your donuts there, Randy. But anyway, I could put this up and the clothes on eBay right now and probably get like 30 or 40 bucks just for that. If I put the whole thing on there, maybe 35. That could also be it there, Country Boy Cotton. It could be Mountain Dew Code Red. But anyway, that was the first full-size Stretch Armstrong I got. And like I said, he was only 20 bucks for a reason. But then, fast forward a few years, and I managed, well, fast forward to within the last couple of years, and I don't know if you all saw the box when I first came back into the room, but I found someone on Facebook Marketplace within the last couple of years who was selling an original with the box, albeit one flap was completely torn off, full-size Stretch Armstrong. This guy is basically perfect. I believe the seller told me that Stretch here was either a birthday present or a Christmas present to one of their children. And they played with him a few times, then he just kind of got put away and forgotten about. But he is brand new, well, basically brand new, not pristine, but just very clean in the box with the original tray right here. And one of the best things, he is still completely flexible and stretchable if I so chose. I could just take him out of the box and just stretch his arms out. But for the sake of collectability, I'm going to leave old Stretch right there where he lays. Well, for y'all's sake, I'll show you he doesn't have any leaks or drips. I believe the seller said that, like, on the side of his neck, yeah, you can kind of see it. Okay, he did leak just a little bit up by his neck. There's a shiny spot right there where the plastic head pairs up with the rubber body. But otherwise, he is fantastic. The only thing this guy is missing is the rubber, or not rubber, the vinyl stretch mat that would have come with him. And this particular Stretch Armstrong, there were two versions made of this full-size one. Uh-oh. Sorry, one of the flaps just got wedged and pulled inside the box. I'm trying to put him in the box in a very specific way. Fold that flap out and away. Fold this one away. I want to try and preserve this guy with his box for as long as I'm able. But anyway, my apologies if I say but anyway a lot. I've noticed that while going back and editing my videos, I say so and already and a lot. But anyway, I got him for, I think I actually paid less for him than I did for that one I got off of eBay. And the seller, this is the part that still gets me. The seller told me that if someone hadn't purchased that Stretch Armstrong that week, like within the next couple of days, she was going to take that to the Goodwill and just drop it off. I mean, that would be awesome for some other collector to just find that on the shelf and go, oh! And that could also be awesome for some reseller to see that on the shelf and go, ooh, just cha-ching, cha-ching, money signs in their eyes. But they didn't get a chance to. I got him, and I'm happy for it. But anyway, I got myself off topic again. There were two large-sized Stretch Armstrong figures in that set. Give me just a minute. I need another drink of something because my throat is starting to get a little raw. Probably drinking Mountain Dew is not the best idea for a raw throat. But there we go. But they made two different versions of this full-size Stretch. They made regular giant-size Stretch, and then, due to a certain craze during the 80s and 90s, Stretch decided to play copycat just a little bit, and they made Stretch Armstrong Ninja. This one, like regular Stretch there, is still in really great shape. Like, his limbs are still flexible. Don't even have to try that hard to get him to flex. And that is awesome to me. But I got him. The only thing that he's missing is they had a mask that goes over his face in the same vein as the bandanas of the Ninja Turtles. And I've got all his accessories in this big storage tub down here to my side, but they're buried along with the accessories to all the other figures in my lap right now. But I got both of them. I forget what I paid for him, but I know it wasn't that much. I also know that he came with a mini action Fetch Armstrong Ninja dog. Which brings me to the next thing. Fetch Armstrong, as I just mentioned a little bit ago and then just now again reiterated, had a dog. Stretch Armstrong, he had a dog, and Fetch was his name-o. And here is the first Stretch Armstrong, Fetch Armstrong Ninja figure that I got. I currently have him wrapped up in a tissue to make sure that his rubber body doesn't come into contact with that Ziploc bag too much. because he's still also basically in perfect shape. He's still nice and pliable. Uh-oh. Okay, he's firmed up a little bit since I put him in there, but he doesn't have any leaks or any holes that I'm aware of. Nice little sausage dog. And he sits inside his little plastic tray, which is actually the tray from an Easter bunny that I got years ago. And it just seemed like it was the perfect size to house him and keep his head up, make sure his little paws weren't going to get all squished up inside of his torso. So put him back in the Ziploc bag to keep him dust free and to keep him preserved for as long as possible. Get the air out. Doink. There. So they made, he came with that Stretch Armstrong, Fetch Armstrong mini action ninja. Yes, that's a mouthful. And that's not actually the proper way to say it, but it's what I said. Then fast forward a while, and I managed to pick up 3 of the different mini action Stretch Armstrongs. Let me make sure these are the right ones. No, not you. Not you. There we go. I managed to pick up 3 of the different variants of the mini action Stretch Armstrong. On the topic of ninjas, they made the giant size Stretch Armstrong ninja. Well, the quote unquote giant size Stretch Armstrong ninja. Come on, let me skip the commercial. And then they made this mini action Stretch Armstrong ninja. I'm not going to take him too far out of these paper towels because, well, unfortunately, this guy's got a couple leaks. One of them being in his arm. And for whatever reason, they decided to make the Ninja Stretch Armstrongs in this black rubber. But they made him, and I've got him. They made, let's see, Stretch Armstrong. That's the wrong one. They made the Cyberspace Stretch Armstrong. Because you remember back in the 90s, or you might know back in the 90s, that everyone was so fascinated with the internet and with computers and stuff that they started making like these weird cyber warrior versions of things. This one was the Cyberspace Stretch Armstrong, who has this nifty feature. I don't have a flashlight with me, but he's got a basically translucent body, and if you shine light through him, he glows. And he's the best condition of the 3 that I got that day. If I didn't mention it already, these 3 came from an eBay auction. And then the 3rd one that I got, and the one in the 2nd worst condition, is my Dark Avenger Stretch Armstrong. And you can guess who that's parodying. Or, sorry, I should say what that's parodying. Now, the problem with this guy, if it wasn't obvious, he has a leak in his armpit and some leaks around his neck. And in case y'all are wondering what they're supposed to look like, I happen to have packaging that goes with another mini action Stretch Armstrong related figure that allows me to show that off. So we have the giant size Ninja Action Stretch Armstrong. We have the Cyberspace Mini Stretch Armstrong. We have the Dark Avenger Stretch Armstrong. We have the Mini Ninja Stretch Armstrong. And then we've got Mini Fetch Armstrong Ninja. And then we've got one that was not actually released to the public. We have Mini, what was her name again? The Amazing Flex Armstrong over here. And then we have Stretch Armstrong's evil brother and nemesis, X-Ray Wretch, whose packaging I just so happen to be showing off right now. And that's because I actually purchased an original X-Ray Wretch carded, but as you can see, the card is like destroyed. It's all floppy and stuff. It's got creases everywhere, but that doesn't matter to me. I just wanted to get one because, well, for one thing, I wanted to complete the set, and for another thing, the more battered the box is, the less guilty I feel about opening them. And obviously, I opened him. But I tried to do so in a way where the packaging would still be displayable, even in its tattered condition. And the cool thing about X-Ray Wretch, if it wasn't obvious from the name, is that this dork has an X-ray feature. What you're supposed to do is you take this skeletal fiend, who also has kind of a translucent thing going on, like I was talking about with Cyberspace Stretch Armstrong. He has a flashlight feature. Here, hold on just a moment, folks. I'm going to skip this ad, move on to the next video, and turn on the flashlight mode of my phone because I'm being stupid. But anyway, see, he's got this feature where you've got a light that'll shine through his back, and ba-boom, he is now X-Ray Wretch. Sorry if I just shined y'all in the eyes. And this guy, since he was still mint in the package, well, he was mint, the packaging was not, he is still perfectly flexible and stuff. Although he's gotten a little bit firmer since I've owned him, and since I've taken him out of his packaging. But what you would do, like I was saying, is you would take this backpack here, you'd put it on his back, and it's got a little red light inside. And when you would push the button on the back of it, if you see in that picture there, he would light up red. Very cool little 90s toy. As are most of these. Hopefully I'm still being entertaining. I know that sometimes when I get talking about my collectibles, I get kind of, what's the word, kind of boring. So I'll just be like, yes, I've got this thing. It was created at this time. It was made by this artist. And if you go back and you look at this, you know, I over-explain, I over-share sometimes. But do feel free to let me know in the comments, am I still being entertaining? I hope that I am. That was X-Ray Wretch. Let's see. And there was a fourth one, not a fourth, a fifth member of the Mini Action Stretch Armstrong crew who's not actually shown on the back of the box, and that isn't Flex Armstrong. It was another variation of old Stretch himself. This one was called Commando Stretch Armstrong, which was literally just Stretch trying to be G.I. Joe. And over the years, I kind of, because it's another one of the harder figures to find, I just kind of told myself, well, I don't need it. I don't need that specific variation of Stretch Armstrong. I mean, it's just regular Stretch wearing camo shorts and a vest. And also an army hat. So I was like, nah, I don't need that one. And then we fast forward a few years, and on another website, another auction site called shopgoodwill.com, who do I just so happen to find but Commando Stretch Armstrong and his dog, another Ninja Fetch Mini Stretch Armstrong. So I was just like, it was extremely cheap. I think I got him for about the same price I paid for that giant Stretch Armstrong over there, the giant size Stretch. But yeah, he came with all of his accessories, I think, except for like a knife or something that I already had thanks to another set of figures. And the Ninja Fetch was also complete with all his stuff. And so y'all can see that I'm not just yanking your chain. He is literally just the regular flesh-tone Stretch Armstrong. Should probably cover that up for censorship reasons, even though he's got nothing there. And what else can I talk about? Oh yeah, there was yet another variation of Stretch that was released back in the 90s. This one, to my knowledge, is and or was, because it might have changed since I last checked, the hardest of the mini-action Stretch Armstrongs to get a hold of. And that, my dear viewers, is Scuba Stretch Armstrong. The only real difference between him and all of his brothers is they molded him in, well, they molded his body in yellow rubber. All right, I feel like I'm starting to drag on a little bit. My sincerest apologies if I am. So I'll just kind of, I don't know. Do y'all want to hear more about the Stretch Armstrongs, or do you want me to skip on to something else? I'll give you all a moment while I get myself a drink of water, because my throat is really starting to get scratchy. Okay, still here, still listening and watching. Okay. So you want to hear more about the Stretch Armstrongs, or you want me to move on to something else? Skip ad. Oh, come on. Okay. All right. I guess I'll keep on with the stretches then. There's not you do you. It did. Oh, it certainly is my show. All right. So I'll just try and wrap this up real quick. It's fine. I understood what you meant there, Country Boy Cotton. All right. So like I said, I'll just try and speed through the rest of this. So they actually made two different versions of the mini action Fetch Armstrong dog. They made original Fetch or mini action Fetch, and then they made Fetch Armstrong Ninja. And for the sake of having both the dogs, I'm thinking about just taking the accessories from my second Ninja Action Fetch and trading them off for accessories for a regular Fetch. And boom, I'd have two complete and two different Fetch Armstrong dogs. On the note of that guy, though, I also happened to track down for a reasonable price the full-size model. Also, surprisingly, in good shape. He's got a couple little nicks and stuff where he's done battle with some other toys, but he still lives. And like I said before, he is still trying to be careful with him. Still in good moldable shape, just like old Stretch himself. One of the only problems with the Fetch Armstrongs is if you don't have the original packaging, their little paws get kind of smushed up inside their bodies like that. But, you know, it is what it is. And he's supposed to have a vest that would wrap around his middle, kind of the same fabric as Stretch here, that would have his name written on it like that. But again, I got him for a great deal, even with that missing vest. I still like this pup. All right, so let's see. I've talked about the mini action fetches. I talked about Stretch Armstrong Raphael, Dark Avenger Stretch, Scuba Stretch. I talked about Cyberspace Stretch, Commando Stretch, Regular Stretch, X-Ray Reg, Full Size Stretch, other Full Size Stretch. Talked about some of the backpack figures, original mini action Stretch Armstrong. Oh, Here's another interesting one that I'm sure not a lot of you have seen or even know about. For those who know about the 90s Stretch Armstrongs, they actually released a mini action, micro size Stretch Armstrong keychain. My apologies if that thump was kind of loud, but he is a fully functional keychain. It's actually a little tiny Stretch Armstrong filled with corn syrup. Got the outfit and everything. And when I purchased this, he was brand new in the packaging, although unfortunately, somehow the rubber that they used to make his body started to deteriorate. And well, he developed a couple of holes. Don't know how well it'll register on camera, but he leaked a bunch of whatever the candy goop is that they filled him with along the inside of his packaging. But considering the amazing price that I got him for, I'm still very happy to own him, even in his damaged state. And I keep him in this Ziploc bag, basically because I don't want his packaging to get any more damaged, and because, I want to keep him nice. Okay, moving on. I can show you the accessories. So like I was saying, these guys came with a bunch of accessories. Here's the near complete set that goes with Dark Avenger Stretch Armstrong. Then we have the near complete set of accessories for Ninja Stretch, Mini Ninja Stretch. We've got near complete set that goes with Scuba Stretch, including the little cardboard that told you what he was on the front of the packaging. Then I've also got in this box the near complete set of accessories for the giant size Stretch Ninja. And I've got the complete set, well, 2 complete sets of mini Fetch Armstrong Ninja accessories. That's 1. Here's all the accessories for Cyberspace Stretch Armstrong, aside from one of these weird lenticular plastic discs. And I already showed you the accessories for Cryo Ice Claudius. And here's the accessories for Commando Stretch Armstrong, like I was saying. Literally just flesh tone stretch with camo shorts, a vest, a hat, a gun, and a knife. And I'll be honest with you, when I first saw the knife that goes with this, I thought that was an accessory that went with a Tulka Ninja Turtles action figure. But after checking it against my other Tulka accessories, it turns out it isn't. It's also made out of a much more flexible material than those ones. And let's see. Yes. And the other complete set of accessories for my other mini action Fetch Armstrong. And of course, a couple extra projectile launchers for Scuba Stretch and Commando Stretch, respectively. And, oops-a-daisy. Thankfully, I didn't break anything, but that was a loud thunk. Uh-oh, we got another one. Let's see. Friendly Yetis incoming! Okay, but anyway, getting back to this. There was also a subset of Stretch Armstrong toys that I touched on very briefly earlier. The Intergalactic Backpack, which was literally a series of miniature Pac-Man figures. And yeah, they have the exact same function as Pac-Man, only instead of sticking the pump into the side of their head, you would pop it into the top of their head right up here. Then you go like that, and they get all like crunchy and hard. Feel your insanity should be that. I like that. I like that. But you would take this pump that's included with them, that thing right down here, plug it in the top of their head, and take the air out. Then you could yank them out and stretch them into different poses, and they would stay that way until you pushed their cybernetic button. At least that's how it went in the commercial for the Vac-Man, the big Vac-Man. And one of the things that came out of the intergalactic backpack was the Vactory Maker. I happen to have one of those. It's incomplete, but it's got all the little figures you could make with it. What that entailed was you'd get this box with this big factory machine-looking thing. I don't remember if it's in this room or if it's in my other room, but it was this big, like, dome-type playset. You take the little heads and you put them in this plastic thing for storage. Then you pop the heads onto these shoulder things and you put the rubber body on it. Because this thing is literally just a little rubber balloon. You'd hook that up and you would move the parts into place. And there was a thing where you'd squish the head down onto this. And after you do that, you would use another part of the playset, like the evacuation pump, and just put it on this peg up here, and then they become stretchy and hold their shape, just like the others. And they made a bunch of different variations on the body. Like this guy's got 4 arms. This guy's like Cryo Ice Claudius, and has just like a big tail and 2 big hands. And then there's this guy who has basically a normal, almost monkey-like body with his giant arms and little legs. And there's another one like that one I just showed you. And another, then there's another variation on that yellow guy. It's got, I know it's the same body shape. My sincerest apologies for fitting. It's another of that guy. Another of that same body mold. But they came out with a bunch of different body shapes, like I was just saying. I think I've got at least one more different one in here. Oh, yes. Then this one that's like an octopus, but doesn't have the little hands on the ends of his legs. And yeah, there was one other body shape to these figures that regretfully I don't own because he wasn't included with these. So yeah. Also, I've got a couple other not actually Stretch Armstrong related figures down in this bag. Tub, I should say. One of them is, give me just a moment. One of them is this little squishy zombie dude that I found at Five Below for a very cheap price. And his gimmick is that when you squish him, his head puffs up. Just gonna keep most of his body in the bag. Just gonna pop his head up. What you're supposed to do with him, like I said, the gimmick is you squish his head until it like pops up like that, and he has some like red goop in there, which has unfortunately evaporated. But he's got that red goop and he's got some styrofoam pellets that make it look like he's just, got a lot of goop inside him. But I think that'll about do it for the Stretch Armstrong portion of the video, which I didn't even know there was going to be one. All right, so Grappler, let's get you back in there. And we'll just set the storage tub lid on top. Ooh, that was loud. I am so sorry for my headphone wearing users. All right, trying to think. What else is there that I could talk about that would be at least somewhat interesting? Okay, I'm going to toss this next one out to y'all. Just ask me about something. Just say, do you have any of this? Do you have any of this in your collection? And if I do, I'll feel free to talk about it. And if I don't, I will let you know. And while I'm waiting, I will dance badly. One last thing for the Stretch Armstrong portion. I almost just knocked over a bunch of Ninja Turtles grabbing this thing. Back in your place. Don't fall. Okay, I'll make you fall down. There. But where do I see myself in the next 2 years? Hopefully continuing to do YouTube. And hopefully actually getting to a point where, if I'm able, this, sorry, it's not that I'm wanting this to become a career for me, but if it's possible, I would love to actually be able to, make some kind of a second income out of my channel. Oh, and real quick, what I was getting to, what I reached off screen for and was fiddling with, apparently the toy companies liked the idea of that little tiny micro-sized Stretch Armstrong so much, they brought him back a few years ago. I believe this is 2018 from Hasbro. This one I have not opened yet, just because, well, it was a bit more of an expensive thing. Like, you might have seen the original price tag on that mini micro-sized Stretch from the 90s. It was like $5. This thing was about $11. This itty bitty little micro Stretch Armstrong was like $11. It was at Walgreens or CVS, I forget which. But I've been wanting to get one of these, and all the ones I'd seen online, price was like 20, $30. I told myself I wasn't going to pay those prices for this thing. Then I saw this on the shelf. It was the only thing in like that particular toy rack. Like, the pegs were there. Just this one sole world's smallest toy was just hanging there. And I didn't want to pay $11 for them, but I figured 11 was better than like the 20, 30 that you're going for online. And so I just grabbed him, paid for him, and went about with my life. So there you go. Okay, so I already answered the where do I see myself in the next 2 years. Now, what books intrigue me? Well, I mean, there's that one series that, it's obvious that I've got a fascination with. But let's see, what other books? I'll level with you, Country Boy Cotton. I don't read all that often, just because, well, I'm not a strong reader. Like, as I was saying, I think I mentioned this before, talking about the Goosebumps book versus episode reviews. It took me, now this might have been because of the fact that I had to stop every so often and write down like character details and stuff from the books while I was working on that. But it took me about an hour and a half to get through a Goosebumps book, and those things, I know I've got one around here within reach. I buried them under Stretch. Excuse me, Mr. Armstrong. But it took me over like an hour and a half to read a book that thick. But like I said, it might have been because of the fact that I kept having to stop because, with these books, Mr. Stein didn't put the descriptions like right at the beginning. You actually had to piece together what the characters looked like as you read the book. So like on page 1, it could say, Sarah has blonde hair. And then like another chapter or 2 later, Sarah is tall. Then like way later in the book, it throws like she has glasses, she has freckles, and she has a snub nose, stuff like that. Which I understand, but it made it fairly inconvenient for doing those videos the way that I did them. But yeah, like I said, I'm not a very strong reader. I'm hoping to change that by actually getting back into reading, and one of the things I'm planning to do is actually go through the Goosebumps series and literally just read the books and start practicing getting better at reading more quickly. There's actually another book that I picked up not too long ago. Okay, phone, what are you doing? Okay, there we go. Just paused itself for some reason. I'm guessing it's one of those features YouTube's doing where it's like, are you still there? Are you still watching? But like I was starting to say before I interrupted myself, there is a couple of books that I picked up not too long ago. Pardon me, I've got to step off the screen to get them. That's not the book I'm looking for. Oh, come on, where is it? Where is it? There it is. There's been a couple of books that I've been picking up as I can find them, because these things are a bit hard to come by. But the like novelizations of movies intrigue me. Like as I just showed you, I've now got a copy of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. I also believe I have a copy of Ninja Turtles 2 in book form. At one point, I had a copy of Toy Story in book form. Unfortunately, by the time I got a hold of it, it was like falling apart. The very middle of that book had some kind of glossy, full color pictures from the film. So I guess you could say that movie novelizations intrigue me. That's about the best answer I can give. I gotta deal with my nose again. Pardon me, ladies and gentlemen. You get to see old Jack-o'-lantern blinking again. Just give me 1 second. Okay. My nose has been sorted out. All right, just one more moment here. There I am. And there we go with the comment section. I'm going to grab myself another Mountain Dew. Let's go ahead and replace the old one. Crack that bad boy open. Didn't notice that before about these Mountain Dew cans. The little raceway in the background, in my honest opinion, is honestly rather reminiscent of the old Sonic the Hedgehog games. Like, I think it's the second one where you've got that one mini game where you're literally just running around avoiding red and blue balls and just going like doink, 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 doink. It's got kind of that kind of aesthetic to it, in my personal opinion. That could just be me. All right, so let's see, what is the time now? All right, so I think I'm going to try going for another half hour. Going to push myself to go till 7. And during that time, what do y'all think? I'm thinking about hooking up the Sega again and playing a game, but after seeing my stream before and just seeing how delayed the game was compared to me, I'm not 100% sure on that. Let me know. What do y'all think? Should I finish off this stream with a little Castlevania, or you want me to keep talking about my random collectibles and stuff? Okay, like the random collectibles, but as I said, it's your show. Well, okay. All right. Okay. All right. Trying to think. Because I know I just brought up that idea for switching over to doing to doing the video game thing. Oh, there's a new one. Okay. Telepaths each chuckle heartily. Telepaths each chuckle heartily. But what are they laughing about? Is there some kind of shared joke between those dorks that we don't know about? Probably. And it's probably at our expense. Shame on you, telepaths. Shame on you. Sounds kind of funky. Okay, yeah. No, I think I'll skip out on doing the Castlevania at this point in time because I still have plenty I can talk about. Just a matter of figuring out what to talk about. I know, I know. Here's one. Now, this little dork, I can guarantee that. Wait, before I get to that. Okay, Country Boy Cotton, if you're still viewing and whoever else is watching, to anyone who's currently in the viewing audience, I laid out something in my uh, end of the year that it's over video, and I would like some feedback from y'all. So when it comes to the Dr. Dreadful review that I'm going to be doing, sorry that Mountain Dew is trying to come up for some reason. When it comes to that Dr. Dreadful sets review that I said I was going to do if we hit our $100 goal for Thankmas, which we did, woo! We hit $100, which got doubled because we did it on the day of Thankmas. So we actually raised $200, which means that one of those homes they built, we put a door on. Go us. This community helped someone get a front door for their brand new home. But as I said, if we were to hit the $100 goal, which we did, I would do one of those Dr. Dreadful sets reviews. So to you, the viewing audience, I leave this decision. Would you prefer it if you saw me, if I reviewed the Dr. Dreadful Food Lab or the Dr. Dreadful Drink Lab? I'm only going to be doing the candy from one or the other, and I'm leaving it up to you, the viewing audience. And as I set forth in the It's Over video, it's I'm going to hold off until April, and hopefully people are actually going to vote on this. I'm going to tally up all the votes in April, and when I get it all tallied together, then I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to make which one y'all pick. So again, you've got until April, but would you prefer to see me mess around with the food lab or the drink lab? And feel free to throw in your vote during this stream if you feel. But while that's going on, I'm going to go get the thing I was starting to talk about. Thankfully, it's like just right over here. Okay. So I'm sure y'all saw me grab my little friend over here. Some of you may be familiar with Corky, And the reason why I bring him out is because I can guarantee that the reason why my subscriber count jumped up, which this is something else I touched on that It's Over video, is thanks to my review or my talking about this guy. And that's because that particular video, well, the reason I can say that with certainty that it's thanks to him is because around the time that the Chucky TV series started taking off, that video blew up. Currently, as I'm sitting here, let me double check myself, but the last time I checked, it had over 6,000 views. And I can guarantee that's because when I first posted that video, I had put the hashtag Chucky in the description. So let's just go ahead and go to, oh, right, it was called Did I Buy a Real Chucky Doll? D-I-D-I search. Yep, it's got 6.7 thousand views as of right now. So I know for a fact, it's partly thanks to this little dork right here that our subscriber count, that this community has grown to the size that it has. So, Corky, thank you so much, you delightful little dork. If it wasn't for you, and if it wasn't for me putting on a show for everyone out there, I don't think we would have gotten to the point where we are right now. And I am grateful for that. Grateful to that for you. Grateful for that. I'm trying to think how to word this. Grateful to you for that. There we go. But Corky here, first of all, he's going to dance for you a little bit. But Corky here was a toy made by Playmates Toys back in 1986, 2 years before Playmates picked up the license for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And he is a Teddy Ruxpin bootleg, I guess you could call him, because he, in his back, has a tape player that when you turn him on, when you push the button to get him to go, he, talks, obviously. And also, this is one of the toys that they actually used when they were designing Chucky. They got the same voice actor who did the voice for this doll to come back and do the voice for, obviously, Chucky, as well as Tommy. And I know there was a third one. They made like 3 different not child's play dolls, 3 different good guy dolls in the films. And, well, they based that little terror on this guy. But if you want to see more about that, feel free to go back and check out my Did I Buy a Real Chucky Doll video, where I go into full detail on that. Although, I have been thinking about going back and redoing that particular video. Just the way I went about it was kind of silly, having just really poor quality printouts of each of the different items that I was talking about. So go ahead and let me know in the comment section over here, the chat, or in the comment section down below this video if it's live, if it's recorded and archived by the time you see this. Should I redo that Did I Buy a Real Chucky Doll video? On that note, Corky, it's time to put you back on the floor. We're going to put you over here this time. What do I think is better, older horror movies or newer versions of horror movies? Well, that's kind of a hard one to answer. Because, it depends on the film. Because there are times where they, reboot a franchise or they remake a film from a franchise, and it's really good. And there are other times where they remake a film and they don't do such a good job. Case in point, well, Okay, yeah, I do have an example. The original Dawn of the Dead, was it Dawn or Day? No, it was Dawn of the Dead. That film is a classic, but unfortunately, not a lot of people know about it in the current day because of the guy who owns the rights to it being a bit of a dick about it, pardon the language. Essentially, he wanted to take that movie and turn it into, I think, a 4K 3D experience. And it was going to cost a lot of money. And he also made it very, very expensive to get the rights to air it on TV. So just he made it so that a lot of people can't actually see the movie unless they've got a copy of it. And they haven't been putting out DVDs or Blu-rays of that film. Pardon me, let me, whoops a daisy, I hit the power button instead of the volume button. But he made it very expensive and very hard to get the rights to actually air it. And then because of his nonsense, wanting to make like an ultra HD version of the film, just made it so that it's not as easy to get a hold of a copy because they're now out of print. I should probably turn that back up a little. But I would say, wait, sorry, I got myself mixed up dealing with that nonsense with the phone. So when it comes to the more modern horror movies, like the remake of Dawn of the Dead, that one, it seems like it's got the heart behind it. And in certain ways, I like what they did with it and some of the changes they made to it. But in other ways, it just doesn't quite work. Like, don't get me wrong, it's still a good movie in itself. Um, in that particular case, I think they're about even. But I mean, if you're looking at them separately, but if you're comparing them side by side, the original one, I think, tops it just a little bit, just because they handled it the way they handled it. Just people trying to exist in this world where the dead have risen, just taken over the world. There's basically not much they can do about it because the tables have already turned. The dead are outnumbering the living. Although I will admit, a lot of the gore effects that they did in the modern Dawn of the Dead, sorry, modern, the remake of Dawn of the Dead, are a lot better. I'll give them credit for that. But in a way, just something about the blood and gore effects from the original one, just how they were all bright and vibrant, almost cartoony reds, gave it a special flair. But then when you get into stuff like, say, the remake of Child's Play, I understand why they did it, because or why they went the way that they did. Because I mean, I guess the whole voodoo thing is kind of passe. Now they're like the horrors of artificial intelligence that doesn't know right from wrong and just does whatever. Oh, no, 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 no. Come on. Don't. Let me skip this ad. Let me skip. Thank you. Sorry, it was a Disney World commercial, and I did not want to get copyright stricken just because of the announcer saying things about Disney World. Anyway, the fact that they went from a serial killer using voodoo to put his soul into a kid's doll, and then the doll trying to possess the kid, to like say a defective little robot that wasn't able to connect to the internet and do things is now able to connect to the internet and wreak all kinds of havoc. Pardon me, my voice is starting to go, which is part of the reason I was thinking of stopping this stream at 7. Just a little bit of soda to keep the pipes somewhat cleared. But going from that to the modern robot that just wreaks havoc via Wi-Fi and just the whole AI goes haywire kind of thing, I understand why they did that. They tried to modernize it, and it's not terrible. Although it is very odd. And there were some scenes in there that were more disturbing than they were in the original. Like, hopefully, those who are watching right now have already seen the remake of Child's Play, but in case you haven't, spoiler alert, there's a scene where that version of Chucky, um, how to say it without getting flagged, he boofs a cat and using his built in microphone and stuff records what he did. And then when Andy's trying to go to sleep, this version of Andy, Chucky, being the twisted little creep that he is, while still sitting on the shelf off to the side, just in the middle of the night as Andy's trying to sleep, plays the recording of, Chucky plays the recording of himself taking out the cat in pretty graphic audio at like full volume and is messing with Andy by that point of the film. That was disturbing in and of itself. But there are other things where it's just really kind of comedic, like, say, where that one kid's trying to get Chucky to do weird facial expressions, and Chucky's whole mouth's just like, eh. His face looks like that for a while. So, as I was saying, it's a bit of a complicated answer to your question there, Country Boy Cotton. But I would have to say I kind of prefer the originals because they may be formulaic in their own way. Hell, they invented the formulas, if you pardon the expression. But I prefer the older ones, especially the 80s slasher genre. Like, just the inventive kills, the way Jason is able to take whatever he can get his hands on and take out one of those stupid teenagers. Just, it's good stuff. I hope that is a satisfactory answer to your question. Okay. Any more questions? Just as a reminder to y'all, I still need votes for if I should do the Dr. Dreadful drink lab or the Dr. Dreadful food lab. Remember, you've only got until April. But the sooner you get in those votes, the sooner I can start counting. We lost a viewer, but I'm sure they'll be back in a minute because it keeps going from one watching now to two. Awkward dancing. Let's go, awkward dancing, until I get another question. And hopefully it's soon because I'm starting to sweat. Should not have worn a long sleeve shirt to do this stream. There it is, two watching again. Woo! Any of y'all ever seen that Numa Numa video? Back to one viewer. Okay, gotta pause and get another beverage. Take it away, Pumpkin Ghost. All right. One viewer again, but 3 likes. Woo! Oh, excuse me, I worked up a bubble. Okay, actually, instead of just sitting here dancing awkwardly, how about I read? Oh, wait a minute, got another commercial, and it's gone already. Okay, good. I like that they're making these shorter ads nowadays. Makes it a little less annoying to have to sit through them. All right, so I know I already said that I've got a little bit of a thing when it comes to reading. This legitimately sounds like an ice rink offshoot of the Me song. At least it started off like that. But I know I already said a thing about how I'm a little bit of a slow reader, but I've got a feeling that some of y'all would like to hear a story from this book. So to kind of help fill up that last 10 minutes, I'm going to read to you the title story, In a Dark, Dark Room. So we start off with this fun little illustration here by Dirk Zimmer. In a dark, dark wood, there was a dark, dark house. And in that dark, dark house, there was a dark, dark room. Oh, hold up, we got another one. Okay, Randy eats donuts. Randy eats donuts, ladies and gentlemen. Good for you, Randy. Hopefully they're the good ones. Personally, myself, I prefer crullers, fritters, and raspberry cream. No, also I like jelly donuts, and I like the peanut butter coated ones. Heck, I just like donuts. Anyway, getting back to the book. And in that dark, dark room, there was a dark, dark chest. And in that dark, dark chest, there was a dark, dark shelf. And on that dark, dark shelf, there was a dark, dark box. And in that dark, dark box, oh my gracious, I'm almost too afraid to look. What was in the box? Oh, it was a ghost. There was a ghost in that box. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, what's another one that I didn't read during that other stream? Right, here's one. The Pirate. It gives me a chance to dust off me pirate talk. Ruth was spending her vacation with her cousin Susan. One of them must be kind of a tomboy because honestly, they both, well, the one looks like a boy, the other looks like a girl. Anyway, a pirate once lived in our house, Susan told Ruth. He died in the room where you're staying. His ghost is supposed to haunt that room, but we've never seen it. I don't believe in ghosts, said Ruth. Well, Ruth sounds a little stuck up now, doesn't she? But the thought of a pirate haunting her room scared her a little. Before she got into bed that night, Ruth looked everywhere. She looked under the bed. She looked under the rug. In the closet, and in the drawers, behind the dresser, behind the curtains, and anywhere else a ghost might hide. But she did not find a thing. Ruth yawned and stretched and got into bed. She turned off the light and snuggled under the covers. Just as I thought, she said to herself. There's no one in this room but me. Then a big voice said, and me. Dun 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 dun. Yep, we sure did. Personally, I'm glad for that. Mountain Dew Code Red is actually one of my favorite Mountain Dew flavors. Okay. So, let's see, what's another good one from this book? Not to say that there are any bad ones. Here we go. Here's another childhood favorite of mine. In the Graveyard. A woman in a graveyard sat. Oh, very short and very fat. Oh. She saw 3 corpses carried in. Oh. Very tall and very thin. Oh. To the corpses, the woman said, will I be like you when I am dead? Oh. To the woman, the corpses said, you'll be like us when you're dead. Oh. And then my favorite part. To the to the corpses, the woman said, ah! Because in a way, hold on, we got another one. Ornery Nelson gagged. Ornery Nelson gagged. Well, someone help him. He's choking over there. Someone give him the Heimlich. Poor Nelson. But yeah, just first of all, the thought of this. Well, think of it logically. You're in the cemetery, and you see the undertakers bringing in a few corpses, although why the corpses are being brought in with their coffins wide open so you can see them, I don't know. But you're just sitting there idly minding your time while you're at the cemetery. Then the undertakers come in. What would be your first thought? Uh-oh. No, not this one. Sorry, it was jumping over to cover songs of Nintendo songs. I had to skip that real quick, otherwise we might have gotten copyright claimed. Excuse me. But anyway, think of that logically for a second. You're in the cemetery. Uh-oh, we got another one. Okay, Frankenstein's young intern. Frankenstein's young intern, what to do with that? Frankenstein's young intern couldn't find the monster's toes. And so when the monster arose, it fell flat on its big square face because of the fact that, well, without your toes, especially your big toe, you just almost can't walk because it helps you with stability while you're standing. So Victor Frankenstein fired his young intern that day. Anyway, back to this. So why would you get it in your head when you see corpses being brought in? Just like, yo, dudes, am I gonna be like you when I'm dead? But the bigger surprise is just imagining you actually just do off the cuff, be like, am I gonna be like you chuckleheads when I'm dead? And having them actually sit up and go, yeah, you will. In that regard, I understand exactly why she's screaming. But just the juxtaposition of just, will I be like them when I'm dead? And they're like, yep. That is literally the definition of ask a stupid question. Although she's not going to be like them when she's dead, at least not right away. It's going to take a while for when for all that to rot away. Thank you. I'm very glad you appreciate my what's the word? My improv skills. Still got a long way to go with them. At least if that is about me talking about Frankenstein's young intern. All right, so what else? What else? We've got about a minute left. Okay, to finish this off on a good note, on the best note, the Ghost of John. Gonna cut the music right there because this is a song in and of itself. I know I did this for the Thankmas live stream, I think, but it bears repeating because it's a fairly good song for being so short. Have you seen the ghost of John? Long white bones and the flesh all gone. Ooh, wouldn't it be chilly with no skin on? Dramatic reverb. All right. Well, that's going to do it for me, ladies, gentlemen, and all other configurations of being. Thank you so very much. You guys are awesome. I'm eternally grateful to all y'all that stuck with me. And on that note, I'm going to be cutting this here in a second. So just going to say a quick later, Country Boy Cotton, thank you for dropping in. And to all the bots that popped in and left your weird little tags that I was able to get some sort of comic relief out of, I guess thank you too. Even though I'd prefer it if y'all didn't do such things. You know, that's life. What can you do? And on that note, cowabunga, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed the show for what it was. And I will see you next time in the next stream or just the next video. Later, y'all.